Hey there, Rem PCs. Welcome back to Rules of Cool, where we interview very special guests, creators, gamers, designers, and world builders. I'm your host, Rem, and today we'll be chatting with the team at Sophisticated Cerberus, Jeremy, Ethan, Matt, and I have one more name. And Jeremy, Ethan, and Matt. Sorry, their commas were a little messed up there. We have a fantastic giveaway of an exclusive early prototype of the Stifling Dark, their board game. So type hashtag RemPC in the chat for a free entry to win. The drawing will be done at the end of today's episode of Shadowrun Emerald Glitch, which is coming up right after Rules of Cool. You can also get bonus entries by donating bits or subscribing. Every 100 bits gets you a bonus entry to win, and subscribing gets you 7 whole bonus entries. Now, in Rem Alternis news, Exit Vector is the aerial combat minis game coming to Kickstarter. Give your pilots some much-deserved attention as you use this rules-like game on its own or as part of your cyberpunk role-playing game. Get your rigor on with Exit Vector and follow the link in chat to check out the project. And don't forget to enter your email. Well of the Worlds is coming to Kickstarter from Mobius Worlds Publishing. Powered by Prowlers and Paragon's Ultimate Edition, this TTRPG setting transports characters into a new fantasy world where they discover they have powers they didn't have in their home world. Inspired by Japanese isekai portal fantasy stories, this is a world of adventure for you to explore. Learn more by visiting the link in chat and following the project. And finally, in the world of Shadowrun Takedown, power is everything. Will you rise as a Shadowrunner or fall prey to the corporate web? Gear up for an epic tabletop board game like no other. You can join us on Kickstarter starting August 3rd and secure your spot in the shadows. Now, it's time to get right into our conversation for this week, so stay tuned, Rem PCs. Welcome back, everyone, and welcome to my special guests for today. You guys have a French name now, apparently, where you've got 3 first names from my introduction here. So I'd love for you each to introduce yourselves for real, so our audience can meet you. So do you want to start with Ethan?
Sure, yeah. I'm Ethan. I'm one of the 3 of the Sophisticated Cerberus games. Yeah, excited to be here.
Matt?
Oh, okay, cool. I wasn't sure if we were supposed to jump in or if you're
I know you guys have your own order that you do things, so I don't wanna mess you up.
Yeah, I'm Matt. I'm the second member of the team.
And I'm Jeremy. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to kick off this interview with the same question I love to ask all of our guests. How did you first get into gaming? So you got to think of your backstory here, all the way back to whether it was video gaming, board gaming, whatever it might be. And I want to hear all about it. So should we start with Ethan?
Sure, yeah. So I feel like my story is probably pretty similar to a lot of people, but back in high school I played a little bit here and there, but it was a lot of like the your typical like Monopoly or like Sorry or whatever, just the old games. But I feel like in college I started playing some of the more interesting ones, I guess I would say. I started out with Catan and like Evolution and a whole bunch of other games. But yeah, I did a lot of that, and then I started doing D&D, and that's a whole rabbit hole. So yeah, yeah.
It's funny hearing you mention Sorry. As in the indie game field, we almost never think of those originals anymore. So thinking back and going like, that's I can find where we as a culture learn to not mean our apologies.
Yep.
Awesome. Matt, how about you?
Yeah. Aside from things like Candyland and Monopoly, etc., as like a kid, I specifically remember Ethan dragging me into the World of Warhammer in middle school. And and that began things. We'd also play like Axis and Allies until like 4 a.m. When we would go to his house on the weekends. And then in high school, and especially in college, I started collecting board games more and just playing a lot of them. I kind of stopped for a while and just did video games, but I got back into it and have had that cardboard addiction ever since.
Awesome. Now, I have to shill because you said the W word, and working for Catalyst, I have to one up you with BattleTech here. But I painted actually on this channel, Gen Con TV, last night. I joined Rick from Rick Rules America and Path of the Brush, and I painted my very first BattleTech
Nice.
minis. So I've got my
Nice.
my pink, purple, and blue. He's a I know this. He's a rifleman because
Yeah.
which makes sense because the rifles. I'm still learning BattleTech, guys. I'm real bad at this. And then the Centurion, who I did blue with a little bit of pink.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I like his action pose. He's pretty cool, and he's got his little Wolverine claws right there. I like those.
Nice.
Nice.
So that was my first time painting. They look great from camera. Don't look too closely at them. I'll warn you about.
They just got to look good at tabletop distance, right?
Right,
Exactly.
the 3 feet away kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yep.
Now, Jeremy, how about you? How did you get into gaming?
Well, first off, you gotta stop talking minis, or Matt's gonna take over the show, showing you all his Legion stuff, because that dude's a fiend when it comes to painting. So let's shift focus here for a minute. But I'm very similar to Matt and Ethan. Like I started playing games with my family when I was a kid. We played Monopoly, Life. My brothers and I played Risk for hours on end. A lot of card games, and I'm actually somewhat of a late bloomer when it comes to like the modern board games. So I didn't start playing more of those until I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago, whenever Matt moved to Minneapolis. So we hooked up again after that, and we started playing more board games, and then this massive collection behind me, plus another one upstairs. So I also fell into the trap thanks to Matt. But it's such a fun hobby to hang out with people, play games, try to kind of learn new things. So it's been lots of fun along the way.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So I want to kind of get into, as we get into the production conversation and what you guys do now for the game industry, which has taken you to a different perspective on board games. But what are some of your favorite board games of all time?
Yeah, so I go back and forth on this one. I have, it's hard to just nail down one, but I think I was thinking about this and I'm like, I don't know if you've played there's the Game of Thrones, the board game. It's an older one. But that one is
One or
no, it was before the card one.
oh, okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was I don't know if it was maybe less popular or not. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't heard a lot about it since. But like I used to play that with my friends back in college a lot, and it is like it's absolutely one of my favorite dudes on the map kind of like Risk sort of game.
Awesome. Awesome. I've never actually played it, but I love Game of Thrones, so I should totally do that.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. It really is.
Awesome. Matt?
Yeah, you just reminded me of that game, and I know I'm craving it. But my favorite game, I always go back to Heaven and Nail because I love the theme, and it's also just a very good game. But also Dune Imperium is a lot of fun. I have played that a lot recently, and it is very good.
Cool. And Jeremy?
I have such a hard time with this question because I love a ton of games. I'll pick two for now, I think. One being Terraforming Mars. That was probably like the first kind of heavier game I really got into, once again, thanks to Matt. So I love that game. And then also more of like a lighter one, Survive Escape from Atlantis. That game is such a fun, competitive game where you're like sinking on the island. You can like take out people's boats. Those games are both super fun in their own rights.
Cool. I have a really bad memory for names of games. In some cases, because I'm thinking of maybe you guys can help me out. It's a dinosaur park building game, and it's very pink.
Dinosaur Island, I have it
Dinosaur Island, that's it.
somewhere.
It's a lot of fun. I've been playing it on Tabletop Simulator with friends on the weekends.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's it. Yep.
I really enjoy it. Plus, my little Jurassic Park heart is just so happy every time I play it. Cool, awesome. Well, that's great to hear. So let's start talking about board game design. So you guys have been friends for a while. You played games together. When did you start talking about making a game?
Well, we all, we've known each other since high school or earlier for some of us. I think, I mean, at least for me personally, I didn't really do a lot of design aside from like being a DM and like creating worlds and stuff. Like, I feel like that would be kind of my introduction to just thinking about games in that way of like creating something instead of just playing something. But as far as like us actually like coming together and deciding to make a game. Well, Matt and Jeremy were actually looking to make a game together. And then I had this idea for a board game that I was kind of telling Matt about. And he was like, oh, hey, like Jeremy and I are looking to actually like put something on Kickstarter and do something like, would you be interested in joining? So that's how I came to join them. And then that was the start.
Awesome. Anything that Matt or Jeremy you want to add to the story, the origin story?
I'd say I'll thank Ethan for joining because the game we started with was my game. It was like a space game, and I had all this like delusions of grandeur about like how crazy this game could get. And then we tried it for like 3 months, and it sucked. And so at that point, we switched to Ethan's game, which became the Stifling Dark. And so I'm very happy we brought Ethan in because we would not be where we are today without Ethan's horror game idea.
Yeah, let me kind of ask you. So there are so many board game companies out there now, and there are even more game designers or aspiring game designers. So you can kind of go two paths. You can try to pitch your game to different companies and see if someone will buy it, or you can do all the work yourself. So what made you decide on the path of Sophisticated Cerberus?
Yeah. Essentially, we actually did have a few publishers reach out to us, like even early on. We were actually surprised because we didn't have to like reach out to them. They just kind of came to us wondering if they could publish our game because they loved the table presence. But they all wanted to change some of the theme or make it lighter or completely change it too. And we did talk about it, but it was very important to keep the sensation that you are in like something is hunting you and that anticipation, and we felt that we would lose that, and it was very important that our game was just like oozing with theme because that's a huge selling point of it with the tradable presence and the cool mechanics. It's the theme ties everything together, and we didn't want to lose that.
Awesome. Cool. Um, so what are some, I want to get into Stifling Dark in a moment here, but what are some of the elements that you found in other games that have really, maybe your previous answer kind of answered this a little bit, but what have those elements been that have stuck out where you're like, ooh, I want to take this element from this game and this element from this game because they're our favorites. Do you have any examples of those?
Yeah, I think we really like just the overall like tenseness that can come from a game. So we're thinking like, how do we create that tension? That was kind of like our tagline at first, was a horror game that brings true tension to the table. And so we're thinking of like what games evoke that kind of scared feeling or like get you on the edge of your seat. That was one of the main things we wanted to go after. But also the unique components. So like the flashlights in the game are like our main selling point from a table presence standpoint, and also it's our central line of sight mechanic. And so, like, what games out there have really unique components that are very central to the theme and the actual like mechanics of the game? And that's kind of, and we went on to a lot of different games and also video games too. We always get the it's Dead by Daylight board game kind of comment at conventions. So we had a combination of, I would say, both board games and video games that kind of lent themselves to this game, and we kind of consolidated things, came up with our own ideas, and kind of just went from there.
Cool. Anything to add on, Ethan or Matt?
I would say, I mean, yeah, as far as like interesting elements that we've seen, because the line of sight mechanic was kind of like the hardest to develop. I think that's really what our game ended up solidifying around. And I think I mean, I came from a lot of places. We tried some stuff that was like more like D&D, where it's like a grid, like an actual like square grid, and you've got like pixels. We've got the old flashlights that look just goofy at this point. But yeah, we looked at games like was it Tannenberg, I think, where they've got like
Tannhauser.
a
And that's good.
Tannhauser. Yes, that's it. And that one, it's got kind of like if you're on, all the spaces have different like colors, and if you're on a space that has this color, you can see all the other spaces that have that color. So like that was kind of interesting. We thought about that, but ultimately we had to kind of create something that was a little bit new and a blend of a few, different things. So
Cool. Awesome. All right. So how did Sophisticated Cerberus come to be? Was you were playing, you started to come up with these ideas for like elements of this game you wanted to build. Where did the name come from? How and when did you incorporate? What was that process like?
yeah, so the name itself is just based on the three of us. I mean, there's three of us. Cerberus is a three-headed dog, so we each kind of chose for our logo. Each one of us chose a different head of the dog, and we have like there's a monocle, a bow tie, and a top hat, and so each one kind of represents a different one of us.
So, okay, stop everything. Who's
Well, Matt's the bow tie, Jeremy's the top hat, and I'm the monocle.
awesome? Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I always forget, I've got the top hat in my closet, but I always forget to take it out because they all have their own little piece of. We
Just
actually
bring it
have
to
the
the con.
things that are in the logo, so
Yeah.
I should have brought that out.
Mm.
Oh, how neat. So, and then you were telling me in the pre-show that you incorporated in 2020 during COVID. Tell us about that
Yes.
process.
Yeah. I mean, it was Jeremy is definitely. I'm glad that we had Jeremy to kind of shepherd us through it, because he already has. He's already been through that process before, and he's very knowledgeable about that. So we're very we're very fortunate to have Jeremy to help us with that. But it's definitely, yeah. We decided that we wanted to do this. We went to the bank. We got the notary and all that. All that stuff.
Awesome. How neat. So let's talk about Stifling Dark finally. I feel like I've gotten those little teasers and I'm like, but I want to know more. So I want to say congratulations. Huge success for a first game. It did phenomenal. It's hard to build up an audience and stuff like that for a new company. So you funded in just 4 hours. Tell us a little bit about like what work went into preparing and feeling like you were ready to accomplish what you did.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of what we did was get people's emails and start growing our mailing list, and just organically growing from them, talking to their friends. So we would have people come up to us and be like, "Oh, I heard about you," and we're like, "Where did you hear about us from?" Because we hadn't done like any public sharing or anything yet at that point. So it was really exciting to hear the organic growth like working. And then we all learned some new skills like video editing and using Blender to make like cool animation frames and stuff. And Ethan did a lot of that. And so essentially we contacted voice actors and things and made a script for our Kickstarter video, because that was like one of the essential things after we had read some books about like how to make a successful Kickstarter, was like, you need to have a good video. Very happy with how that turned out. But that was really big. And then the rest was like, hey, what stretch goals do we want to have unlocked, or what, which ones can we unlock feasibly? What are our reach for the sky goals? And then we kind of just hit the go button, and you just hope you're ready. Because I feel like everyone has a different story there, because there's no tried and true like perfect method for like what you need for your company. You're kind of just ready when you're live and launching, but obviously prepping things like stretch goals, having your video and everything will definitely help.
Yeah, definitely. I remember thinking that you're ready for your first Kickstarter after you've completed your first Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Those were my feelings, where it's like, okay, great, we funded, but I would have done so much different knowing what I did now. Like the stress when it's your baby that you're putting out there. I remember thinking like, okay, I have all this content that I'm gonna be able to do during the Kickstarter to release like every 2 days or something like that, and I became catatonic, where it was like, all I'm going to do is click refresh button over and over and over again. And that's all I'm mentally capable of.
That's why
Yeah,
we're glad Three of
I
us
was just
here.
gonna say the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
There's three
Go
of
ahead,
us, so
Jeremy.
like we literally had shifts. So we're like, okay, Ethan takes the morning shift, Matt takes afternoon, I take night. And so we did our best to kind of break those responsibilities apart. We said like between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. we're in bed. Like we're not gonna be watching this thing 24/7 as much as we'd like to, but we probably shouldn't. So we split it up into like different shifts, and then that gave us all kind of some breaks throughout the day that were very much needed.
Awesome. Awesome. So explain Stifling Dark to us. What is the game? What's your pitch?
Yep, we did this a bunch at Origins. We'll be doing it again next week at Gen Con. So here we go. The Stifling Dark is a one versus many hidden movement horror game for 2 to 5 players. So you have one person who's playing the bad guy or the adversary. They're trying to stop the other players who are the investigators from escaping. And so the investigators are there. They kind of wander into this abandoned sawmill or this abandoned amusement park, and they have to use their flashlights, these little acrylic pieces, to essentially search for evidence and protect themselves from the adversary. So Matt's prepared. So
Look,
It's an old one, but yeah.
so those are the things they use for line of sight, and so that's really been the like main selling point of our game. As I said before, we were kickstarting. It's our claim to fame, even though we're not famous. So that's kind of what we did for line of sight, and it's a really fun way to like quickly see what you can actually see on the board. There's way less like line of sight arguments like you have all the time. Like, hey, can I see this space or can I not? You drop your flashlight down. If a line goes through it, you're good. So that's really the main selling point of the game is that line of sight mechanic. But also from the adversary side, there's many different adversaries to choose from, and each adversary has different attacks and abilities. So you can kind of switch up your play style. You can go with the cult. So there's 4 little minions running around trying to like stab the investigators. We have the butcher, who's kind of like Michael Myers, and we also have the insatiable horror, who's kind of like a big Tremors like cone snail type of thing. So there's lots of different ways you can kind of switch up between the different investigators, different maps, and the different adversaries.
Awesome. So so again, like the adversary is trying to slow him down and throw more and more and more at him. Meanwhile, how do you escape? How does a player get to the end and escape?
Yeah, so the investigators have to find evidence. So there's the adversaries behind a mini map, so you can't see kind of what they're doing. They have their own smaller version of the map behind the player screen. And so they place down these evidence tokens in each of the buildings. The investigators have to find those using their flashlights or by lighting the buildings up. Once they have those 5 evidence, then they can start their escape. And each map and each adversary have their own kind of unique escape routes. So on the sawmill, for example, you can either fix up one of the trucks with getting the car parts and installing them, and you can drive out and like basically crash the gate down, or you can find the parts for the gate to fix it and open up the gate. And then each adversary also has a banish the adversary route. So for the butcher, for example, you have to find his grave, exhume it, and then get his ritual ropes and dagger, and then go attack him with those. So each adversary has their own thing tied to their backstory that you can use to escape and actually like take the fight to the adversary. Or you can always beat the scaredy cat and run away and not face the adversary.
The 3 ways to win, and you can make your options collaboratively.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. And you said at one point you light up the buildings so you can use your flashlights to find what you need and turn lights on and stuff.
Yeah, so each building has like a light switch, but this is an old abandoned sawmill, you got to remember. So you turn the lights on, and the next round they're out permanently. So it's a one-time use. You can light up the entire building all at once, but then after that round ends, the lights burn out. You cannot make it bright again unless you use your flashlight. So really good way to find evidence and kind of maneuver through buildings, because the inside of buildings are pitch black and they take longer to move through because it's really dark in there. So light switches are really nice, but they're limited use if you use them wisely.
Wow. The limited use thing, man, that hurts.
It's so like you always want to use it because it's so good, but then you realize, oh crap, I can't do that again for the entire game. So you gotta use it very carefully.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So what are your plans for Stifling Dark at Gen Con? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, so we have a booth. So if anyone's going to be there, you can stop by and say hi to us.
Your booth
We'll
number?
be actually, Jeremy, do you remember what that booth number is offhand?
2945. We're in the back right corner.
Cool.
But yeah, we'll be there, so we'll be showing that off. You can stop by and kind of play with the components and get the spiel, and we can show you what's up. We've also got a bunch of games that we'll be playing in the gaming hall, so you'll be able to play with us. I think they're probably mostly full at this point, but we do have people who will drop or not show up. So there's always a chance that you'll be able to sub in and play with us.
My favorite survival guide cheat for my hack for cons is just get generics, and then as you walk by stuff, you're like, "Ooh, this is cool. Is there room?"
Yep. Yep.
And then you can drop on in there. So
yeah, you'd be surprised how many people, there's just random openings here and there. So
yeah, I get it. It's super hard when I mean, Gen Con, you guys have been there 4 years now, you said, and as a business for 2. But there's so much happening that it's very easy to be like, well, I bought this ticket, but I could go do this that I didn't know I was going to do before.
yeah. Yeah, there's so much going on at Gen Con. It's so hard to find everything, especially if you've got a schedule to keep.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is walking the hall. I know there's the one game, I never remember the name of it, but I've seen it every con I've been at since I started going to cons, and it's the one with fire, and they have the little orange crystal stones.
Fire Tower.
Yep.
Fire Tower, yeah.
Yes.
I see it every time, and it's always busy, so I still haven't sat down and played it. But every time I see it, I'm like, I need to play that because it's shiny and pretty.
Yes, absolutely do it. I had the exact same reaction at Origins, and I bought a copy and played it with them at Origins, and it was so much fun. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's a great game.
Awesome. I can't wait. I don't know if this is true, but the first con I was at, I feel like they were smaller, like maybe they had just started, but it also could be like my bias of like, it's my first time, so it's everyone's first time, right?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
seeing them at every con and stuff like that is really cool to watch these groups grow. I just had that actually I was at San Diego Comic-Con, it was my first time. And the Goliath coins, do you know what I'm talking about? They've been at the past couple of years.
Mhm.
They were right next to us at Origins this
Yep.
year.
They were at San Diego, and like I had gotten a coin from them, a phoenix and a dragon, a couple years ago, and they were like putting them in little Ziploc bags and very basic. And now they have like the hard plastic packaging, and they have leveled up. They've blown up. It's really cool to see them grow. So you feel like this little sense of prideful ownership, like I remember them way back when, right?
yeah, it's really cool to see everyone kind of growing with us. I mean, it's Dave, who did Distilled. We've known him since we met him at Protospiel way back when we did our first convention, and his game did amazing. It was really cool seeing him, and now he's on to his next game, and it's just it's really cool like having these people who are growing up with you essentially.
That's awesome. Are there any? I thought of this while talking. Are there any ideas for expansions or anything for Stifling Dark, where there's new maps or rules elements coming?
Yes. we have ideas, especially for new maps because we love maps and more adversaries. It's a ways out because they take a long time to develop and balance and everything.
Sure.
But we definitely would love to do that at some point in the future.
Awesome. Oh, that's cool. You heard it here, everyone. It'll happen. But I really like your idea for like the sawmill is cool and totally horror setting, and then the abandoned amusement park. I was like, ooh, I want to play there. That's cool. Awesome. So, what else are you guys doing at Gen Con? Are you doing anything fun?
Doing lots of demos and booth work. So that's one thing we're trying to figure out is like, how do we actually go and like have fun at these things, right? Like, because we were running demos all weekend long, we got to staff the booth. But we always try to like give ourselves a break to go around and check out other games that are out there. Like Ethan mentioned, we got Fire Tower last year or at Origins this past time. Well, we got a Fiction from All Play. That was another great game we picked up. So we definitely try to give each other time to like go actually like have fun and go check out the booths. So that's the main thing is I think going around and just checking out the other booths, saying hi to our fellow designers and backers and stuff like that. So it's a lot of work, but it's also really fun just to see people and network and do stuff like that. And there's always the after parties and stuff. Although we're usually too tired to go to those things, we're always like, oh yeah, we got this thing this night and this thing that night, and then we show up to maybe half of them because we're so exhausted. But
It's so
yeah,
great for networking, but it is quite a schedule.
yes.
That's really cool. So getting a little bit of gameplay, getting in some of the networking. I think it's super important to make that time to still do what you love, right? Like you guys started just playing games together. And like, again, from SDCC, it was really fun to go. And I had one day where I was working and then 3 days where I was just a fan, and being able to just be a fan and stop where I wanted and talk to who I wanted, play what I wanted. Like it's still such an important part of what we do because this is why we love it, right? So losing that element because you're working all the time and hustling all the time, gotta make the space.
Good news is we usually play like after, well, like we have an Airbnb that we book always. Like we're usually playing games when we get home for theirs. Like we may not play a ton of demos at Gen Con or at Origins, but when we go back, we're always playing with as a group. Like we'll play just a lighter game or whatever, just to hang out a little bit. Because yeah, it's like if you just work, it starts to take the fun away a little bit. And so we try to make sure we always have those breaks and that time to actually play the games, because that's why we get into this, is we all like gaming a lot. So.
Yeah. My team at Rem Alternis, we don't do it every week because travel and life happens, but we set aside time on Fridays for market research, where we all just get on and play a game, whether it's a video game or a board game, or if it's something we're working on or something we're not working on. But that way, like, it's market research, it's work, we're all educated about it, but we also have those moments and memories together. So
we've had some Dead by Daylight team outings. We also did some Deep Rock. So yeah, we do a lot of video games, actually, the three of us, as well. But yeah, we've had our own company outings doing stuff like that as well.
Cool. Oh, that's so cool. So how did your previous Gen Cons go? Like, what are you expecting in terms of this year? What were you promoting years past, and now has your focus shifted? What is the agenda?
So this year, I don't think it'll be too different. I mean, the last time we were at Gen Con, obviously we didn't have anything. We just had just the prototype of the game and just an email list for people to sign up for. So this year we'll at least have people can still order the game, and we don't quite have it physically there, like copies to sell physically there. But they can sign up to purchase the game. We also have our new game coming up that we're going to be publishing, Gears of Industry. So that one will be at the booth that people can check out as well.
Tell me more.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Gears of Industry, it's not, we didn't design this game. Ananda is the designer. He's not here, but we met him at Protospiel as well, and we just loved his game. So it's a game kind of all about efficiency. So you have these gears kind of trying to keep with the unique components that we had with Stifling Dark. Gears of Industry, there are interlocking gears that you build a machine out of, basically. And each round you pick an action to take. Sometimes, most of the time, it's going to be rotating the gears. So every time you rotate the gears, it produces a certain color of mana, and then you use that mana to fulfill orders. And if you have any left over, you have to vent it. So that's where the efficiency comes in. So if you vent a bunch of mana and it clogs up your exhausts, then your factory becomes inefficient, and you start having to sacrifice things and not get as many points.
Oh man, that's neat. I love that it's mana that you're producing. So it's like the steampunk gears and stuff like that, but producing mana. I'm having flashbacks. We play a D&D 5e game on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Master of Rem. And every Sunday we play Cuddles Like Clockwork, which is based off the comic book, which is steampunk fantasy, for Cuddles Clockwork Circus. And one of the things that we found is this device, this machine that seems to produce magic and sustain it. So like if you're scrying or something, it's always active.
That's awesome.
It's terrifying. I think everyone's trying to find us and kill us. Every time we see one, we're like, break it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We're big fans of that kind of genre as well, and that's definitely what we want to kind of go. The theme of this game, we're still like working on art and theming, so absolutely but that's the direction we're gonna go.
That's so cool. So I love that you guys fell in love with this game so much. What do you think? Do you think that there is? I mean, obviously, board gamers in general, like this will appeal to, but like with your previous audience where it was so horror focused and now all of a sudden switching to steampunk fantasy, like how do you think your audience is going to respond to the change?
I think that I think that the thing that we want to focus with the not the stifling arc, with Sophisticated Cerberus games, we want to really focus on games that are very unique and have very unique components, things that you see it and it's got table presence. So that's kind of the angle that we feel that there's crossover between the two. It is very different in like the themes of it, but the actual game itself, like the mechanics, are not something that we've really seen a lot of before.
Cool. Awesome. Ah, how fun.
And that was a very deliberate conversation we had too. Like, do we stick with horror? Do we not? Because if we stick with horror, now we've kind of pigeonholed ourselves, and all we can do is horror. Because like our second game is that it's like our turning point. Like, do we stick with that? Do we switch it up? I mean, that's just, and we love horror. Like, don't get me wrong, but we also didn't necessarily want to be exclusively known for horror games. So we made the conscious decision, knowing that obviously like not as many of our backers might transfer over to it, just so that we can kind of get our name out there in other genres, other types of games as well. So we definitely had that conversation, because the horror certainly would have made sense and we would have probably retained a slightly higher portion of our existing backers, but we want to make sure we had that flexibility going forward, because once you do that second game, now you're kind of known for that thing, right? And the thing we want to be known for, as Ethan mentioned, was the unique components and kind of the central components of the game, less so than just for horror. So
no, I think that's a smart decision. And you've got, you'll have the Venn diagram of people who love the horror board game, and the people who love the steampunk fantasy board game, and you'll have that crossover where it aligns. But maybe the steampunk fantasy people that you didn't realize, or you didn't have captured before, maybe they see Stifling Dark and that's something that they're now a fan of too. So the crossover is definitely a smart approach, I think. Cool. Awesome. So when is that coming to Kickstarter, or what are our plans for that?
Tentatively next year. We're I want to make sure all the design is good and it plays really well and well balanced and everything. Have artwork, all that. But tentatively, we're looking to do that next year.
Awesome. Great. So is there anything else exciting coming down the pipeline that you can tell us about? Other cons, other games, other anything?
our last con of the year is a local one here in Minneapolis called 2D Con. So we get Gen Con next week, obviously. That's our main focus right now. But and then on August, I think it's August 26th, I want to say, whatever that Friday is. Yeah, August 25th through the 27th, we have 2D Con, which is one of our favorite local conventions. It's a lot smaller. And so we kind of ramp up throughout the year and then we end with a smaller convention. And that's a really good one because it's just a nice local, probably like 2,000-3,000 people I think go to it. So much smaller than Gen Con, obviously. But we have that coming up, and they have this awesome arcade room that has basically pinball machines, arcade games, video games, PC games, and you just go there and you can play to your heart's content. It's all included with your ticket. So we basically go run our booth, and after that's closed, we go straight to the arcade hall and like spend all night there. So it's a really good way to kind of end the convention season. So that's our last convention for this year that we have planned. In terms of upcoming other games, right now we're focusing on Gears of Industry, but we are talking about, like you mentioned earlier, the expansions of Stifling Dark.
Cool.
Because there's three of us, we're kind of dividing and conquering right now. Like we'll have one person kind of focusing more on Gears of Industry, one person focusing on Stifling Dark expansions, and one person focusing more on like the operational side of things.
Sure.
But we do plan on kind of alternating. So we don't necessarily want to, because Stifling Dark took 3 years to develop and design and everything. We don't want to wait 3 years between every game. And so we'll probably alternate between either like design, publish, or design, publish, design, publish, kind of like that. So we are definitely thinking about kind of our next steps. But right now, our main focus is getting Stifling Dark fully delivered and then getting Gears of Industry prep for Kickstarter.
Awesome. Cool. Well, anything else that you guys want to share about the business, about the games, about you guys personally? I'm gonna ask, the next thing I'm gonna ask is where people can find you. So if there's anything else you want to shill before that, please go ahead.
Well, I don't have anything to plug personally. I don't know about Matt or Jeremy, but
No, yeah.
Nothing to plug per se, but I think it's been really fun being a part of the industry. And I think if there's other people out there looking to be a designer or a publisher, I'd say go for it. It is a lot of work, so I'm not gonna like try to sugarcoat that. It's a ton of work to be a publisher because you have all the stuff that you have for game design, but you also then have to worry about the business and the taxes and the supply chain and all that stuff. So it's a lot of work, but the good news is there's lots of resources out there, and there's also lots of really like it's an amazing industry to be part of because everyone's super helpful. You can go and ask somebody that's technically your competitor, and they'll be super open with you and tell you, hey, here's like what I wish I would have done differently, or here's how the resource I go to for that. It's amazed me how like open people have been throughout this entire process. They're always willing to help. There's lots of resources out there, so if you're interested in it, go for it. Just put in the time, do your research, and you can go from there.
Yeah, agreed. The gaming industry is really unique in that it's not like, well, it's my secret. You know, I'm not going to tell you what works. Um, it's very networky and supportive, and like it's small enough of an industry that like if you're kind to others, others are going to hear about it. And if you're not, they're going to hear about it. So everyone's, and you never know when you're going to be working with some people in along the line of as well. Like now that you've got game designers under and devs on your resume, who knows? Like someone Modifius or Paizo or God, anyone could come along and be like, hey, we want to hire you for a game or something like that. So you just never know, and it's very, very open community. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, where can we find you? How do we follow all things Sophisticated Cerberus and you guys if we want to keep track of what you're working on next?
Yeah, so all of our socials are SophCerb, SophCerb. So it's all, we've got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and that's a handle for all of them.
Love it. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys. We are getting close to the end of the show here. So I really appreciate you guys coming along. Thank you again for the donation for the giveaway. And guys, this is a really cool giveaway because it is an exclusive early prototype. So you'd be getting a copy before even the backers get a copy, which is pretty darn cool. So hashtag RemPC in the chat. You can get bonus entries by donating bits or subscribing. For every 100 bits, you get a bonus entry, and for subscribing, you get 7 full bonus entries, which is like 2 for free. So check that out. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here and all the work you're doing for the industry. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Now, don't you go anywhere. We have that wonderful giveaway of the exclusive prototype of the Stifling Dark. Thank you so much to Jeremy, Ethan, and Matt for donating such a cool prize. Don't forget to type hashtag RemPC in the chat. And all funds that we get from bits and subs help to pay our cast and crew and keep producing content. You can also pick up t-shirts and merch at our Etsy store at www.remalternus.com/Etsy. Thank you all for joining. Now, on to Shadowrun Emerald Glitch. See you next time, Rem PCs.
Can I just ask, what does a summoning tea kettle look like?
Oh, a summoning tea kettle. It is made out of cast iron that has been painted ritually with symbols uh in blood, obviously, that are then coated
Obviously.
and shellacked over so that they don't flake off, that way it can last for centuries. And we use a nice clear coat though, so you can see them quite nice, quite clear. We mix in with the blood, we mix in the iridescent paint, so it gives us a nice little beautiful shimmer, especially as it heats up. And as you heat it up, that's where the magic happens, because that is when all of the symbols start to glow and get bright and beautiful. And as the tea kettle whistles, that is the summoning ritual complete.
If you have an interest in using the summoning tea kettle, or taking part in any of the other worlds in our games, you don't have to have experience. Just join our Discord, and the GMs will work with you and help you find a game you enjoy. The link is in the chat.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?
92 times.
You get to play with us now, which is so exciting. So with channel points, bits, and subscribes, you can give rewards to the player of your choice. So how to do that is, no, not Bob. Channel points, I believe it is 500 points, gets you NERPs, which is +3 to any dice roll to the player of your choice. For 1,000 channel points, you can do a point of edge to any player. And for 2,500 channel points, you can do 4 edge to the player of your choice. Now for bits, for 100 bits, that's $1, you can do the NERPs. For 200 bits, that's $2, you can do the point of edge. Or for 500 bits, that's $5, get 4 edge to give to the player of your choice. And finally, again, the subs, if you subscribe, you can give 4 edge to any player.
ready to do some? Yeah, good times. Welcome everybody. I'm Max from Original Box Set, and this is Emerald Glitch. Baby.
Perfect.
Yep. Couldn't have done it better. I didn't write it that way this time, though. I'm Max from Original Box Set, and this is Emerald Grit.
Emerald Grits.
Emerald Grits.
Rolling the intro one more time.
Yeah. Just pretend none of that happened. All right, and take two. Evening, everyone. I'm Max from Original Box Set, and this is Emerald Glitch. Brought to you by Rem Alternis. And we got a bunch of players here. We're going to do some stuff. I can't say the word glitch. Why did we choose glitch? Like, it's so close to grits. It's just confusing me.
You're just hungry.
Emerald soy grits, I believe, is what you're referring to.
You mean sawdust? It's all that.
Right?
With a little bit of butter, it fixes everything.
Yeah.
Sawdust and butter do not fix. No.
I played Frostpunk. I know exactly what I'm
Me too, man. When I saw that option, I was just like, yeah, no, I'm going down that right. No. Frostpunk, it's an amazing, interesting game. And you should definitely play it. Words now from me. Welcome to Whimsyland, where the vibrant realm of Stu and Penny's adventures come to life in a kaleidoscope of magical colors and enchantment. But as you step through these whimsical gates, you'll be transported to a world of imagination reigns supreme. Look at these amazing rides like Rainbow Rider, a dazzling roller coaster, or Pixieland, a magical carousel. Mermaid Lagoon, the water ride. Psh, shows an image of happy kids. Yeah, they're so happy. They're so damn happy. Or Wizard Way Castle, where Penny and Stu confront their arch nemesis, Max Moneybags, where he battles the evils of the Union Teamsters. Penny and Stu, they're the Teamsters. They're the bad guys, actually, but it doesn't matter. It's not the point. It's a dystopian future. This is supposed to be a game where we kind of laugh at the realization of everybody getting a good fair handshake. And this game's supposed to be about people not getting a fair handshake. It's how the world's not supposed to be that closely aligned. It's not supposed to be this hot, but this world is hot, and so is ours. So we're not too many shades away from my game. We're going to be there soon. For those of you who are the young generation, you will definitely be part of this game very soon. You just probably want to have cool cyberware spurs go. That's not going to happen. No. Anywho, Whimsy World. It's a pretty amazing place. And we, as players and the Game Master, will be there soon. Not necessarily this game session, but soon. Those are like little segues into something else. But now let's segue into something important for our audience. Hey, Amber, what's the drawing tonight?
Yes. Our drawing tonight is the exclusive early prototype of The Stifling Dark, a horror board game by Sophisticated Cerberus.
Wow.
I know, everyone on Marvel. I'm actually really into it, and I've subscribed today because I really want it.
Same. All right.
And if you guys really want it, you'll have to fight me for it by typing in #RemPC in the chat. That gets you one entry, and you can get more additional entries for every 100 bits you donate. And if you subscribe like I did, you will get 7 entries. So you guys are already behind. The winner will be announced at the end of the episode, and you'll be reached out to via Twitch Whispers.
Awesome.
Is that it?
So make sure to leave those whispers on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I am Amber now.
That works.
Now entries to win. Every
That's the McDonald's Wi-Fi kicking in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
God, it's a sad, dark place over here.
So I think the audience has got this. They got this. You did a great job. Thank you so much. We're gonna start. We're gonna start.
Good. Sounds good.
As the sun rises, the towering skyscrapes of the urban sprawl, a mesmerizing sight unfolds in the glistening morning sky. A squadron of sleek, agile, blue steel roto drones, the metallic bodies gleaming in the early light, take flight in Did I write that wrong? Did you guys go at nighttime or during the morning? It was morning, right?
Yes.
During the day, but it's like supposed to be raining or something.
I don't know. I think it was just morning.
It's just morning. Wow, we're wild people for going during the middle of the day.
Sorry. The metallic bodies gleaming in the early light takes flight in perfect unison. The rhythmic hum of their rotors fill the air, creating a symphony of precision and grace as they maneuver effortlessly through the cityscape. Each drone, marvel of modern engineering, designed for speed, stealth, and versatility. Their large, streamlined bodies housing cutting-edge sensors and sophisticated cameras. Two large arms are curled under the rotary frame itself like dangling orbs. And between those two orbs is a GAU 8A Micro Avenger Gatling gun. Perfect piece of technology with a belt feed to a chamber housing over 500 rounds of ammunition, with an automatic switch that can be flipped digitally to go from one type of ammo to the next. Generally, they're loaded with two, but a modification can allow them up to 3 different types of ammo. Dicky shot? Got you covered. Dum-dum rounds? Why not? Explosive, piercing, toxic bullets. I don't know why you would want explosive, toxic bullets, but I guess that's a thing. Somebody could want that. Can do that too. These drones, in their ballet of death, begin zooming toward their target at high speeds, all being controlled by a few riggers a distance away. They're guiding them to a target that is unconventional, conventional. It's a train, an unscheduled train at that, riding along the red line toward Subfabrica at 9. Meanwhile, in the actual train, we catch up to our criminals. Steel Tiger has come to the front of the train car, toward the front of the train cars, dragging behind him a crate. Styrofoam packing peanuts and a variety of strange pre-generated placements that keep things from jostling around too much are on the floor and spilling out, while he himself is spinning around a very long black and silver weapon of destruction. In his peaceful sense that he is still excited at this piece of high-tech death. And when we cut off, you weren't able to join us near the end of this, but pretty much you walked toward the front of the train and goes, I have found weapons and a rocket launcher. And that's what you pretty much ended with. But we're going to pick up at this point in time. You are at the front of the train now. You have dragged the crate that the rocket launcher, as well as some of the rockets were in, and some of the other guns. What crate number you dragged, I don't know. If it doesn't seem feasible that that one crate can have all those things in it. It had micro crates on the inside. It doesn't matter. You guys have a list of all the things that are there, including the one that isn't openable. And I'm assuming you have all looked at the manifest on the crate if you're interested in it, and that's how you know what's in there. Also, Arcole or Convoy could easily have brought up all those manifests now that you were on the train itself to be able to say, hey guys, here's a list, and everybody who is in AR would be able to see it. So when we left off, she was still here. Now she was yelling and telling them, send in the drones. And that's when Convoy, was it Convoy? Yeah, it was Convoy. The train detected hostile incoming drones. Do you remember how many? Because if you forget and say the wrong number, I'm going to write that number down. And if it's too low, then I'm definitely keeping the original number.
It was definitely only like 2 drones. We're gonna keep the original number because I don't remember.
I
2?
think it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
5 maybe.
Sure.
5. Oh, okay. All right. Well, no, you're both wrong. It was
10?
6.
Ah.
6 inbound drones. So we're going to stick with 6.
That's actually what I was going to guess.
Yeah, you said 2.
Realistically,
Why
I
did
just
you
wonder-
say? Why did you say 2?
Because you said if I overguessed, you gave me a bet, Max, and the odds were in my favor to vote low.
That's fair. That's fair. I should have spiced it up and saying if you get the right number, I'll give everybody an extra karma.
Yeah. See.
I got to remember that the whole prize mentality. You got to award players. So these 6 drones are inbound. They're rotary drones. They have on them a light machine gun, most likely loaded with sticky shock. Security corporations really do get in a lot of trouble if they just start wantonly open fire on people. You can't shoot people with like live ammunition and expect nothing bad to happen. Aztecology loses one of their wage slaves and somebody can't show up to Saturday to cover their shift. Aztec's going to be pretty upset about that. So, you don't shoot other people's wage slaves.
Well, as long as these wave slaves don't shoot at us, I have no problem with not shooting at them, right?
All right. So you are correct. And as I described earlier, the train is able to get to top speed in 9 rounds. The first 3 rounds, it is utilizing one of its lower speed engines to start building up speed. The next 3 rounds, it'll be building up speed faster. And the last 3 rounds, it will be using its top speed to go as fast as possible. But the normal system is not designed to use the rocket propulsion that we discussed last time, except for in case of emergency. It is designed to help the train sled around corners and make sure that it can get to its given location due to the cliff, the size, the height, and the turns that it must make to get to where it's going. Now, with all this discussed, that does not mean you can't make it do things that it's not supposed to do. That's why you're a rigger. So we're going to start off, and we can do it this one of 2 ways. I can lump all of you in one group, and you guys decide what you want to do, and then the bad guys get to go. Or we can go individually around if you all have like something different you want to do. Remember in pre-game kind of setup, you can do something that aids somebody else. Somebody else wants to do this thing, and you can be like, I'm using my action to help them.
Makes sense.
So, do you guys want to lump as a group and all do it one, or do we want to go individually around?
As the person who has probably one of the lowest initiative rolls, I'm going to say everybody together.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
Which is fair, but you guys are going first. As far as I'm concerned, the drones are not going first. They will be coming into the range of the train at the end of this round. So this first round of the train speeding up is free to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Cool beans. Well, it's up to me. I'm gonna continue unpacking this worm breaker.
The
And I'm
worm
gonna
breaker for purposes is broke down. Why don't you tell the audience what you actually got there?
It seems as though I found a rocket launcher in one of these crates. So Steel Tiger is gonna be blowing the packing peanuts out the tube, making sure there's nothing inside of it, and then he's gonna start loading up some stick and shock rockets.
Read the description for the worm breaker for us.
Okay, the description is. Oh snap! A cutting-edge rocket launcher from Saderkrupp, designed to fire special armor-piercing tandem rockets. Secondary use as a assault rifle. Has an integrated smart firing system. And then so it fires 2 rockets at once.
No, burst fire can fire 3 rockets at once.
Even better. So I'm gonna load it up with 3 stick and shock rounds, 3 stick and shock rockets.
All right. It is an action to load 1 rocket, a minor action to load 1 rocket, and so how many d6s of initiative do you normally roll? Is like 3 or 4?
4.
So you can load with your minor actions 4 rockets, but if you sacrifice your major action, you can load up to 8 rockets. So you could fully load this gun. It also takes a minor action to cause the rocket launcher to connect to your smart system.
Okay.
And that's because our Cole has you in a pan.
All right. Hey guys, keep an eye out for me while I load this up. So he's gonna cover me as he starts. He just uses his action to load up this rocket launcher full of rockets.
Right. You'll have 1 minor action left. Do you also want to put in a rounds into the assault rifle section of the rocket launcher?
Yes. For that, I will put explosive rounds in the actual rifle.
Right. Are the explosive rounds something you brought in? Because I see.
Oh yeah, if
rounds?
if it takes general assault rifle rounds, then yes.
Yes, because there's only phase rounds and gel rounds in the ammo crate.
Phase rounds? That sounds new. I'll load those up. I'll see what those.
Those are the ones that you can turn them in phase or out of phase, and if they hit a magical field, in phase will pass through magical fields like physical barriers, mana barriers, and do more damage as they come out the other side. Out of phase, they will impact the magical barrier and do a lot of damage to the magical barrier. Otherwise, they just act like dum-dum rounds.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely load up the phase rounds then.
Okay. The assault
Conrad,
rifle.
Did you see the thunderclap over there?
The assault rifle acts as a Colt M23 for the purpose of stats.
Colt M23. Gotcha. I have those stats. All right, sweet.
All right. Steel Tiger is taking a moment to quickly load the rocket launcher.
Do we already would our Cole?
I'd like to lean out the side. Aw, darn it. Is this Wi-Fi acting crazy again? I'd like to lean out the side and just keep an eye out for the drones to come into range.
Sure. Now, the door closed when you guys started to move. It's a natural, safety mechanism.
Oh, I thought we ripped it open.
Oh, that's right. You guys did rip it open, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then the arms tried to go back into a locking position, so now it gives you something to lean on while you're in the doorway.
Amazing. And then I'd like to just aim with my gun towards the end.
Which gun?
My Ares Pressure, the one I came with.
What ammunition are you using?
I am using the. You're right. What kind of ammo do I want to use? The stick and shock. I assume that works better on tech.
Some tech has insulation, and so it might not.
Yeah, I was boxing with one last time, and it didn't do too much.
Yeah.
Based on the information that I could have gathered from looking up the location of the battery and everything, whenever we pulled that out, would Arcole know if these were typically going to be insulated drones?
The flying ones?
Yeah.
That would be
that was
more
a humanoid.
Yeah, that was a humanoid that was on the train. These are different. And that would be more of a knowledge roll or some sort of skill test that you would want to take that would inform you. Otherwise, I will tell Convoy's character the answer to the question without him rolling. Because that's his forte.
Yeah, I can help.
Yeah, they're not insulated against electrical shocks because anything that's flying is automatically insulated against like lightning and stuff like that. You don't need to. It's just so stick and shock are going to be valuable against it.
Then I'll stick and shock.
All right, stick and shock with your heavy pistol.
Yeah.
Excellent. So leaning out the door and readying the pistol is like at least one minor action, and so anything else?
And then I'll just hold and then shoot upon them coming into range.
Okay, like in a surprise round against them. We can do that. We've got 2 people left.
Well, I have a couple ideas. Well, first I'm gonna go. Now that I know that I have the manifest, I would like to check out that MCT Thunderclap.
Right. We're going to assume that the box has already been pulled out by Steel Tiger and just set off to one side when he threw it open. Steel Tiger, what would be your choice when you opened it and saw that gun that you didn't go after that, but instead continued looking for the rocket launcher? Is the fact it had legs?
Yeah, it's the fact that I wasn't going to be carrying it, so it's like, it makes sense to let Convoy do it. That's his forte.
And if you'll allow me, I would like to, as I walk to it, I would like to reach in my pocket and I throw out 3 tiny little drones that look like flies, and I will basically just send them out and get them hovering, and I'll use a minor action to tell like one of them to spread out. I'm basically getting them in different points so I have better views. I have gnat drones.
No. Better view of what?
Just each, specifically the different. I would like to send one to. I can't do this all right now because it takes a minor action for each.
Right.
Or I guess it takes a minor action for all of them actually because I have an RCC. I'm sending one to the kit crate that has the party goods.
Okay, check. One minor action. So how many dice do you get for initiative?
Oh, I'm not hot simmed in. Have I not rolled
So it's
yet?
just your regulars, so you don't have like cyber reflexes or on any kind of drugs?
I just have the one minor action, but with the RCC.
You get 2. You get 1 plus the 1d6. So you have 2, and your major action can be broken down be turned into another one.
Right. So I'm using one minor action to move to the drone so I can get it. I guess I don't actually need it in sight. I don't need it in sight. I have.
That's correct.
So one minor action to send those gnat drones out. One to the party goods crate. Just so I can look inside, and then another. Actually, I just need the one. Just one to the party goods crate.
Done.
Send that over. done. And then I will use my action if I can to take control of this drone.
So the drone doesn't have an owner. It's not you're pulling the plastic off of it right now. It doesn't have an ownership at all. So there's no take control. It's just
great.
Take ownership, which is a minor action.
Oh, okay, great. Then I will do that.
So take a moment and conceive the idea that you are peeling off the first piece of plastic. You are pushing the power button on for the first time. This was stored inside its container with fully charged batteries and fully loaded drum. And make sure to describe it as well as what happens, like how your character reacts to this brand new. Some young starling up in Emerald City's looking to have their new birthday gift, which is this thunderclap, and you're taking it. You gosh darn bean crim.
I think Convoy saunters over because he already saw it, right? He already saw it through the image link of Steel Tiger, so I knew it was there. I saunter over, and I just give a low whistle, now that's a beaut right there. Come here, and I'm gonna I reach down, I take the plastic off, and with a deep, heavy sigh, say, I'm gonna be clapping skulls instead of cheeks. Come on.
All right.
The MCT automated thunderclap. Is it a drone with a heavy machine gun, or is it a heavy machine gun that is a drone? Superior firepower, stabilization system for accuracy. It's really great for sustained firefights. It's a minigun with legs.
4 of them, actually. So if to kind of make it easy for people to imagine, think of the Dynamics 4-legged little drone itself, but instead the main body is mostly just a really large, high-caliber machine gun. And then it still has a forward-mounted camera on it, and it is able to... the gun points in one direction and has only like a 15-degree arc, and the head can turn in different directions. So to shoot, it turns its body. But to its advantage, it can lean its camera to one side and lean the gun too and point the gun out from behind cover, which is what it does because it doesn't have a lot of body. And then it opens fire and moves to a different location. All right, so the little plastic and metal bugger, as you run your hand over it and accept ownership, it begins spewing out its necessary safety precautions and a variety of information and downloading a owner's manual and stuff like that. Arkol, you're aware there's a new device on the pan. Of course, you can pan a large number of devices, so this isn't an issue. But whatever it is definitely a drone and has a military icon. So the Mitsubishi climbs out of the box, adjusts itself, and starts like wiggling the tiny pieces of styrofoam off its little rubber booties, kicking it across the floor and whatnot. It makes several adjustments to make sure all the pieces and parts are moving, from a variety of little fins and flaps and leg adjustments to where the gun itself, barrel, loads, unloads, and makes several little gestures. A piece of plastic shoots out, and the drone comes up saying that it is fully out of its packaging stage and waiting a passcode from you so that nobody else will be able to hack into it. 4-digit, 4-number passcode that you would like punch in or something. Make sure to cover that up before you do that, so nobody can.
I close my eyes while I do it because I'm image linked.
There you go. Dude, did you just give it 1, 2, 3, 4? No, I didn't.
69.
There you go. So that's 2 minor actions. You still have a major action left. You can do something with.
Major action. I would like to. I would like to break that major action into 2 minors. I would like to walk over to the crate that is locked down.
I don't think you can break a major into 2 minors. Only 1 minor.
Okay.
You know what? It won't take but a second to check. Could have swore. I'd rather be wrong on this one, but you'd hate for the bad guys to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the actions? Hey, chat, if you know the answer before I can clumsily dig my way through this digital book, please shout it out. Put it in the chat. I hate to give dead airs. I'm looking for a rule. Burning edge, wild dice, rigging, contact, status. Oh, I don't think I'm in the right section. Hit me with that thunderclap.
She reminds me of Diane Keaton, I think. Is that who?
Whenever I got sent it, I immediately reverse image searched it, and I couldn't find anything because she looks so familiar.
Right?
I'm not finding anything.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything either. This sucks. Like, it should be right near the front of the book. I think that's where I saw it last. It was right under... Heck was under... It was like under initiative. Game, timing, actions. Alright, I'm just going to try a search and then I'm done. Initiative. Let's try that. Duff. Initiative action, order, minor actions.
All I'm saying is we'll always get one attack, one major, and two minor.
We're going to call, no, you get one, and if I'm wrong, I'll give you a benefit later.
Okay, that's fine. I will, I mean, I will just make that my fresh new drone go up and to the doorway so that it has a clear shot from these drones get closer.
All right. That means Nova is no longer alone in the doorway. So one person is left, our Cole.
You got it. Is Catherine still with us?
Yes, she is still there, but she is attentively talking to someone who is to her left and slightly down. Last when she said, send in the drones, she's talking to that person. She has not turned back to pay you attention. And again, she is being projected in here in the Matrix, in AR, via all the little comm devices that are around the train. You'd have to destroy that comm system to make her go away.
What I would like to do is, I do remember starting off trying to set up a data bomb, but I want to craft this data bomb to specifically her. Just plaster her face on any, incriminating image. I'm fairly certain that's how full-on data bombs work. And go ahead and start working on that. And if in the same turn, if I could also run a spoof command.
I'm listening. Yep. Spoof command on.
Oh, sorry. I was referring to drones. Preferably the closest one to me that doesn't belong to Convoy or under the ownership.
Okay, so you're going to get a small penalty because they're out of range just by a little bit, but that's fine.
Oh, I already ran it. 4 hits.
Okay. And what's the opposed?
pilot plus firewall.
All right. And is there another option other than pilot if there is a pilot in driving the driver's seat?
Data processing.
Okay. That's what I needed to know. I thought I was on the roll 20. Am I on the roll 20? There it is. Looking at my notes real quick. No, not there. Move that over here.
If the riggers are jumped in, it'd be their skill, their pilot skill.
Right.
Intuition plus piloting.
Working on it. There we go. Six. No, that's the other guy. 4 plus 8, that's 12. See, nope. Nope. Ah, there it is. Okay, so 14 dice is all they get. I'm going to bring up my advanced roller. Make sure I change everything around. D6, swap that symbol, put in the number 5. 14 dice. Let's see if I got this set up. I do! 3 successes and you had 4. Because they're at a distance, I'm gonna say you pick the closest one, so that one is within distance. So you're successful to spoof. The pilot does not seem to be paying attention as you get 1 success difference. Let's see what that does for your spoof. Awesome, you're successful. What did you want it to do? You can get it to perform a major action.
Considering that it's the one that's considerably closest to us, are there any other drones within range that aren't under the authority of Convoy?
Yes. There are 6 drones inbound, and you just spoofed the first one.
Got it. That drone is going to turn around and start attacking the others.
So it's going to use its major action to open fire on one of the nearby drones.
Yeah.
Awesome. On its action. So that was your major action, and so you still have some minor actions left.
Well, building that data bomb, I believe that would be one of them, correct? Or going back to
building the data bomb. Okay. Where is it? Data bomb. Because we were allowing you to spread it out over several. Set a data bomb. Yes. Yes, so you go back to it, and we'll say, are you going to, how many minor actions are you going to put into it?
I'd like to put both into it.
All right, so that will finish it for the next round.
Fantastic.
All right, so next will be the drones. The farthest drone is the first one that's spoofed and is given the command to turn and open fire. The driver is currently in control, and so when the drone slides out of his abilities to stop it and then starts opening fire, the drone's attack is a 14, and its defense is a 10. So it has edge, it doesn't get to use its edge or gain edge unless it's given edge, so there's none of that really matters. It has 16 dice to attack. 3 successes. And the rigger gets to make reaction intuition. And he has got 13 to get out of the way. He makes 5 successes. The drones are only set up for full auto. I gotta remember what that does real quick. Control find, full auto. Page 13. No, page 13 is not useful. Oh, PG-13. Got it. That wasn't toward me. I was about to say, how is it on page 13? That's really early in the book. Full auto. Here we go. Gyro mount. Systems negate attack adjustment. Okay, so it's just an attack adjustment. Am I misspelling it? Is that why it's not following it? Does anybody else know what the heck I'm doing with my life? It's supposed to be a dash? Oh, now the search function has failed. I'm a terrible game master. Use the single attack 10. That's about putting holes in things. We're not. That's what we're trying to do.
Hey, Max.
Yes.
Don't say mean things about my GM again.
I know,
Aww,
right? That's what
that
I'm
was
talking
really
about.
sweet. Thank you. Burst
Ember
fire
were
is offered. That's for a
criminal.
firing platform. What's that?
Said Ember were criminals. You can't be that sweet.
Good. I'll give you edge.
God, yes.
She's like mission accomplished.
Blast attack, burst fire. I know I've seen this somewhere. I hate this sometimes. All the time. Like if we were playing 5th edition, be like, yeah, I know what the modifier is. It's 10. But there's like a damage modifier with this stupid full burst.
Oh, the damage modifier for full burst is +2 to damage.
Yeah, but where? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's just like a core mechanic of burst fire in 6th ed.
I was just kind of like looking for the chart so that I could know what the full burst fire is and all that other good happiness. Yeah, that's not what I was trying to do.
Full auto, I want to say is 3. Burst is 2.
So much dead air accessories. That's what I should look up. Burst fire. The hell's wrong with me? Burst fire. That's for the gyro mount. Check. Gas vents. Check. Those are all the accessories. Cool. Not now, sweetheart. I don't need a kitty right here. Get out of here.
Page 108, firing modes.
That's what I was looking for. It wasn't a chart. You get an edge. Yeah. So full auto, multiple attacks with one multiple attacks minus. Yeah, cool. So that's gonna happen.
All right.
Shooter chooses to split their dice pool among the valid targets in range to be used to attack a slew of targets. This mode uses 10 rounds and decreases the attack rating by 6. Don't care about that. So it's got 16. So we're going to split its attack into 4 different pools. All right, we're going to do all this over again, so I apologize about that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, and now each of them are going to make a surprise test, which is versus a 3. It's reaction intuition. And so the pilots have a 13. Is it 13? No, 5 plus 6 is 11. An 11 on their combined, so they're going to roll versus surprise. Because, oh, surprise, I'm being attacked. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so all the pilots definitely catch this is about to happen, so they're aware, and now they're going to try to dodge. That's the 13 dice because of their maneuvering thrusters and cool high-techy stuff. Yes. One more. Boom. So as the drone you spoof the command to whirls around and opens fire, the rest of them scatter quickly, zipping all over the place. Immediately, those dangling orb-like arms that hang underneath begin unrolling and positioning themselves in front. One of the nearby drones who has moved to get out of the way and got the 7 successes immediately rush up and grapple a hold of the other drone and attempt to take control of it physically by pointing the gun down. Or better yet, up, because down is the city. These guys have to think about this kind of stuff. They're not going to try to damage the drone, just take control of it. The spoof action only lasts for 1 round. It's not a, round after round kind of scenario. So the rest of the drones, except those 2, are given a command to continue on their path. I need our Cole, because you're up front of the train, right? Our Cole, to make a perception. I'm looking, this is like a physical perception. I'm looking for you to get at least 2, and Amber, I'd like you to make a perception. I'm looking for you to get at least 3.
Okay. Hit 4 hits.
All right.
So, there it is. Sorry.
4 hits as well. Both of you hear that in the background of Mrs. Vought, you hear a voice say, I just lost control. Their Decker is probably trying to, just probably spoofed me. I should be fine in a second. Systems are back online. Send the other ones in. And it's faint, so you can hear her yelling at the guy next to her, but apparently in the same room with her are the pilots to the drones. All right. Now, these drones come zooming in. The 4 that just dodged, they head toward the train, and Vought turns and points towards you guys and says, open fire, as if directing some sort of group of cannoneers on an old-timey buccaneer ship. The drones begin swooping in, but not before Amber gets to pop off a few rounds. Boom. 9 hits. That's crazy high. Like, I can't even imagine that.
Damage is 4p, and it's with the stick and shock.
All right. There are 4 drones moving in your direction. Pick a number 1 through 4. 1 is on the left, 4 is on the right.
2.
2 it is. Again, they have pretty much the same stats. I hit the go button. 5 successes versus your 9. That's 4 extra points of damage. It's 8p damage. As far as it goes for the defense rating of the drone with the pilot in it, it is a 12, but your attack is an 8. It has an edge. So he's going to burn 2 of his edge, and change that first 4 over to a 5, giving him 6 successes, reducing your damage by 1. So he's only going to take 7p. All right, so 7p damage, and now he makes a bod roll for the drone, which is only 3. Two more knocked off from the 7 down to a 5. 5p is more than enough to put the drone out of commission. Describe your destruction of the rotary drone.
I pop it and I feel like it just stops and it explodes. Just kind of crumbles.
Because you are using explosive rounds, aren't you?
The stick and shock.
Oh, the sticking shock. Oh, yeah, no. So when the round hits, the drone like was doing this flip, and you just timed it right, fired into its softer looking mechanical underbelly, and as it started spiraling out of the air, it's like electrocuting or something, it explodes. All right. So that ends this entire round. The drones are going to open fire at this point. Well, that doesn't end this round. The drones are going to open fire at this point, the 3 that are now left. There are only
Feels
2
good.
targets. There's only 2 targets they can shoot at. Their attack is a 12, and your defense rating goes up by 2 from being in the doorway. And the targets are the MCT Thunderclap and
With my darn this Wi-Fi, I have 2 major actions. So the other major action I'd like to do is just move, which I think is just a minor.
it is. Movement is still a minor, and you have a minor left, so you can still shoot one more time. Because how many dice do you get?
Attack of the
Go.
Wi-Fi.
That's the Wi-Fi. It's the McDonald's Wi-Fi. All right. Well, we're going to take this moment. We're going to go to a break. Go get yourself a drink. We'll be back in 5.
Sounds great.
Can I just ask, what does a summoning tea kettle look like?
Oh, a summoning tea kettle. It looks. It is made out of cast iron that has been painted ritually with symbols in blood, obviously, that are then coated and shellacked over so that they don't flake off, that way it can last for centuries. And we use a nice clear coat, though, so you can see them quite nice, quite clear. We mix in with the blood, we mix in the iridescent paint, so it gives us a nice little beautiful shimmer, especially as it heats up. And as you heat it up, that's where the magic happens, because that is when all of the symbols start to glow and get bright and beautiful. And as the tea kettle whistles, that is the summoning ritual complete.
If you have an interest in using the summoning tea kettle, or taking part in any of the other worlds in our games, you don't have to have experience. Just join our Discord, and the GMs will work with you and help you find a game you enjoy. The link is in the chat.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?
Can I just ask, what does a summoning tea kettle look like?
Oh, a summoning tea kettle. It is made out of cast iron that has been painted ritually with symbols in blood, obviously, that are then coated and shellacked over so that they don't flake off, that way it can last for centuries. And we use a nice clear coat, though, so you can see them quite nice, quite clear. We mix in, with the blood, we mix in the iridescent paint, so it gives us a nice little beautiful shimmer, especially as it heats up. And as you heat it up, that's where the magic happens, because that is when all of the symbols start to glow and get bright and beautiful. And as the tea kettle whistles, that is the summoning ritual complete.
If you have an interest in using the summoning tea kettle, or taking part in any of the other worlds in our games, you don't have to have experience. Just join our Discord, and the GMs will work with you and help you find a game you enjoy. The link is in the chat.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?
So we lost one. We lost one to the infinite war of Wi-Fi. She will be remembered until next time when she comes back. And this should be one of those tales, like an Aesop fable about using McDonald Wi-Fi to run a server of Raft at the same time doing tabletop role-playing games. I mean, that's almost as bad as playing Peggle during the Prince fight in World of Warcraft. Like, seriously, people, turn that game off. We're trying to do DPS here.
Not even once. Not even
Melkos,
once.
take that off your bar.
Oh gosh. More DPS, more dots.
Move away from the head, Lee. All right. So her action as she was fading into Wi-Fi doomdom was to say that her character pulls back away from the door as the drones open fire with their rapid-firing sticky shock rounds. So I want to take a quick moment to talk about sticky shock rounds. They are a caseless form of ammunition. They are basically high-speed taser darts. They hit upon impact and release a lot of voltage very quickly. Getting into the physics of it, I'm not going to do, but it's just a lot of voltage very quickly. And I know some people are like, it's not voltage, it's amperage. Yeah, this is amperage. This is amperage that's going through you, okay? But if you say voltage, the common persons are like, oh, I get that. Cool. So, they hit, they do a lot of amperage, it runs through, it can do damage to, like, organics and stuff like that. But if you're shooting electronics, they automatically are able to be identified the target based upon high-tech guns, and they switch for higher voltage. So anyways, right at the last moment, they switch to voltage as they hit the train, because the train's doing nothing but moving. Some of them fly through the doorway, hit the ground, pop, shock, fling all over the place, and after the first few seconds, nanoseconds of impact, sticky shocks turn nothing more than into tiny little cartridges and pieces of plastic and metal flinging around the place. Yeah, it can kind of suck. Probably should be wearing goggles or something. OSHA would be kind of mad if you're not protecting your eyeballs. while getting shot at by sticky shock. Especially when the sticky shock is coming at you, several hundred meters per second because it's being fired from a high caliber machine gun, which is the most terrible thing ever. That's still going to kill someone.
Right?
Take out an eye. But now we're moving into the
OSHA violations.
Say that one more time.
The last thing I'd be worried about is OSHA violations.
So, this next part, we are going to be rolling into initiative. So, if you are in cold sim, hot sim, remember this modifies your initiative. If you've got wired reflexes, this modifies your initiative. The drones are cold simmed in. So I'm gonna give them their dice roll real quick. 12. That was a really good roll on them. 12, 14, 22. So Steel Tiger, you're going to be going first, followed by Convoy, then Arcole, as far as it goes for the order at which things take place. All of the drones are going at the same time.
Alrighty.
So Steel Tiger, you just got finished planting 6 rockets and then loading a full clip of that in-phase ammunition as the entire area where you're at gets filled with tiny plastic and metal cartridges that start bouncing around this room, discharging into the carpet and some of the wall areas nearby.
He's gonna dash towards cover. He's gonna yell at Nova. It's like, get that drone out of the way, as he rolls up and brings the rocket up and tries to take a shot through the door at the drones firing at them.
All right, so there are 3 drones near the doorway that you can see. You cannot see the 4th drone. You know there's a 4th drone. Its icon is forward and toward the front of the train. And the other 2 drones that were a distance away are now moving in this direction. You can see their icons because you are part of the same pan as everyone else. So you could shoot a burst fire from the rocket launcher if you wanted to. They have a defense rating. The drones have a defense rating of 11.
Alrighty. The attack rating, what's the distance I'm at, would you say?
You are not within close range. What's the next one up from close range?
Near.
Near. No, is it near than close? I don't know. Freaking.
It's closer than near.
Then they're near.
Okay. All right. Then my attack rating would be a 3.
Yep, not very good. This is meant to shoot things at a distance, at that medium range. So they have edge on their defense rolls. So are you burst firing or a single shot?
Burst.
Awesome.
All 3 rockets.
As if it were an option.
Yeah.
Which causes your attack rating to drop by 4 more, so your attack rating is actually 0. But your damage increases by 2.
Correct.
And so you're burst firing, and it looks like burst fire. So you're going to make a wide burst and split your dice pool between 2 targets? Or are you just laying into 1?
Well, how close are they together? Are they just all hella spread out?
I would say 2 of them are definitely close enough to be hit in the explosive area. And then maybe you could use the 3rd rocket to hit the guy on the other side. That's nearby. But you would still need to split your dice pool.
Well,
if you want to hit more than 1.
Okay. If I want to hit more than 1, then yeah, sure. I'll split the dice pool. So, how would you like me to go about that?
Just re-roll. It's an 8 and an 8, or
All right, I'll do it again. And then one more time, boom. So there's all three. So I got 4, 2, and 5.
Okay, so the first one. So am I getting this right? I want to make sure you're burst firing into one, all 3 rockets, and then taking a split shot at the last 2 that you can see.
Oh, yep, sounds good to me.
Sounds okay. All right. Cool. Damage goes up by 2. We're burst. All right, great. So now they're going to attempt to dodge. $11. Need that anymore. But it's an error. Why is it an error? Don't tell me it's not an error. My formula works. Oh, it's supposed to be a 0 there. All right, so the first one, which is a 4, it gets a 4. Next one is a 6, which will definitely beat your 2 out. Last one is a 3. That's not going to do any good. Do you want to spend any edge to increase your number of successes on the first shot?
Yes, I will spend. Let's see. What I roll? I will spend an edge. Yeah, he rolled a 4, right? So I'll edge I'll use an edge to turn that 4 into a 5.
That gives you 5 successes. And he already used edge earlier, but he just gained another 1, so he doesn't have enough to do anything. Can you do anything with 1 edge?
You can re-roll 1 failure, I think.
All right, so he's going to attempt to re-roll 1d6. Aha! So he's still... All right, so as the missiles begins, and everybody who is near the front just sees this launcher in his hand just rep-headed fire, just as these rockets begin flinging out at high speeds. The first 2 drones begin zipping around and dodging. The third drone kind of moves to one side, but the rocket then slips over just a little bit, turning in its own path and slamming in. Because he only got 3 versus the 5, so that's 2. That's 14 stun damage. The body of the drone is a 3. It does not have any resistance to that. So it stops 3 of the 14, taking 9. That's instantly exploded. An electrical storm of debris and metal as the missile tears the little drone to pieces. All right.
As is customary, I do not look at the explosion.
All right, cool. You still are able to see what's going on, and you used 2 major actions there. Do you have any minor actions left?
Minor action, I will.
Do you have any?
Nah, I'm good. I'll just roll back around the corner. So
Okay, because the rockets have icons. The gun has an icon, and the rockets and the gun are all part of your hand right now. And there seems to be programming options related to the rockets' icons as they go spiraling out into the distance. You've never used this thing before. You know what it does and how to use it. It has a lock-on mechanism where the missiles will turn back around.
Ooh.
It takes a minor action to select a target, and then all active missiles will head toward that one target.
Oh, okay. Well, then for a minor action, I'm going. It's 1 minor action for each. Can I lock on multiple targets at once?
You would have to. You can lock on multiple targets per minor action. So you could select one of the missiles and tell it to go for one of the targets. And the next round with another minor action, select a different target before that second missile gets too far away and tell it to come back around.
Boom. All right. Well, with my minor action, as I whip back around the corner, I'm going to mark one of them for homing next time. I'm like, he's not going to get away next time.
All right. Done. So your actions are done. And after Steel Tiger's turn, it is the drone's turn. The drone that exploded is not going to be taking his action, but you guys can hear a scream and a ah, and some sort of like plastic sounding crunch noise from Catherine's sound. And which she looks over and she goes, "Ugh, idiots. Why are you using stick and shock? Use live ammunition." And then a voice nearby says, "Ma'am, HR and legal won't allow us to open fire on something that's not our property with anything but stick and shock." "What?" she says in response. "Yes, ma'am." You see her make a gesture of sorts where it looks like she's hitting someone again. Employee abuse. "I don't care. Buy the train. Buy it now," she yells. And then she turns, looks to you, and yells, "Get off my train." See what it did there? The title of the show, "Get Off My Train." Yeah.
Oh, that's the name of the show.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yes. For you guys, you're not going to see any of that. Nothing's in the, "Oh, hey, the train just got sold from underneath us." You can. Those drones will now, the two that dodged are using minor actions to swap from. She's using minor actions that they're using minor actions to swap from the electrical shock damage to dum-dum rounds. The two drones are going to take an abated attempt to fire at Steel Tiger at an angle near the door. That's it. Your defense rating is up by 4 because of this. So what is your defense rating?
21.
Jesus. All right, so you get like bucket 2 edge. Because like it's going to be hard for them to hit, but they're still going to shoot because she's getting all angry at them. You know when your boss is leaning over you going, "What are you doing? Why did you do that? Is that what you're supposed to do? I thought we taught you differently."
Oh, micromanagers? The worst.
All right, so you have edge. The drone moves into a position, and as it does so, it moves up. You see its ammo change out, and instead of that high-pitched sound of those plastic ammunition going off, it's a little bit thicker and heavier, and so dum-dum rounds begin plinking like hailstones against the outside of the train and in near the doorway. Not doing actually any real damage, but it's just not going to be electrical stun. It's going to be physical stun. So 13 dice. Bam! 3 successes. Now this pilot still has his edge from earlier, but he doesn't have like anything going because you've got the benefit, and I rolled only 1 4, so we're going to swap that around with his 2 edge and make that 1 more success for a total of 4 successes.
All right. My defense roll. Boop. I also have
4 successes. So you just what do you do? Just step farther into the doorway?
Yeah, he just brings the rocket launcher back up and then just rolls back around. It's like, like
the rocket launcher is okay. So and they're like, and there's like little dents and whatnot. Because the gun's powerful and the dum-dum rounds are definitely doing some damage. The gun, your gun, the gun you're holding, the rocket launcher, asks if would you like to use this time wisely and reallocate the 1 rocket and give a target elsewhere. It's basically segueing for your next round of combat. Like, hey, one of our missiles missed. Would you like me to tell it to turn back around and hit a target for us?
Yeah, that guy that's shooting at it.
Not a problem. And suddenly the pan indicates that the drone that's opening fire on the doorway is a threat target. And one of the missiles makes a U-turn.
I love that you gave a rocket launcher Clippy.
That's the exact image I had in my head. Was a little rocket launcher with weird hands and feet, being like, "Oh, it seems like you missed with one of the rockets. Would you like me to turn it around?"
All right. Arcole, after this happens, the other one is not gotten to position. It is maneuvering around to come to the front of the train, while the other 2 are pulling back and kind of observing. You can hear through Catherine's phone, or her call, as you hear dee, 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 dee. Hey, what's that beeping noise mean? And she turns, the beeping noise means a missile, you idiots! So, because they can hear, like when the drone gets locked on by his missile, it begins making a warning sound. And these guys that work for the corporation are like, what's the beeping noise?
Oh, it's nothing. Just chill out. You'll stay right there. You'll be fine.
Don't worry.
So, are you going to use your con skill on your action to try to convince him otherwise? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, it is now Convoy's turn.
Oh, got it.
Great. Okay. I'm going to look in the crate that I was just
The
pulled.
party favors.
Well, no. I've got a drone on that one. That was next to the one with the drone with the thunderclap.
Uh-huh.
Is there enough room for me to fit inside of that thing?
The one with the thunderclap, where it was
Yeah.
coming from? Yeah, if you toss out the extra ammunition, the instruction manual, the recharge port, and some of the extra little add-ons and whatnot, like its tripod and its extra jower mount and camera-mounted options and so on. So if you throw out everything for the box, yes.
Then I can fit inside?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that seems like a lot of work.
It is. You just flip the box over and dump it on the ground.
Does that take an action now? That's my question.
It takes... we'll say it'll take 2 minor actions to flip the box and dump everything out. How's that?
No, that's fine. I will instead I should be in a which I don't know which car I'm in, but I assume I'm not in the same car with the open door.
You are not. That is the second car. You are in the fourth car.
Okay. I am going to. I'm in the fourth car back, and is it the fifth car that has the lounge, or is that in the fourth car? I can't remember.
The sixth car has the lounge.
Sixth car. Okay. And it takes, if I use a minor action to move, that'll get me into one car.
No, it'll get you all the way to the last car.
Okay. I'm gonna go use a minor action to move. I'm gonna get into the lounge and like shut the door behind me.
Sure.
I'll pop down in the chair, and I will use an action to jump into that big gun of a drone.
And you're in.
Right.
Are you cold or hot?
I am cold simming in.
Okay.
And then that's my action and minor action, and then I will use my. Oh, do I immediately get the new minor actions? No. Okay. Well, I have one minor action left. I will use that to, now that I'm in the drone, to take cover. So I will stick the, point the gun around the corner.
So you're moving out. You're getting into a firing position.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Drones are for the most part immune to dumbed down rounds. You're not going to take any damage from the slugs. Fleshy targets are going to take damage. Unarmored fleshy targets are going to take a lot of damage. So the drones at most might get a piece of broken glass or something, and the full window thing gets smashed up. It's stick and shock that could do more damage than explosive rounds. All right, so convoy's done. It's Arcole's turn.
So looking at, given that Arcole is not exactly a conversationalist by any means, instead, I would like to flood the feed that is being sent to us with pop-ups.
You're turning the noise level up. Okay. Okay. That's... Each point of noise incurs a -1 penalty for matrix action. Okay.
Would that affect anything going on with the control of drones, or is that out of my control at the moment?
Control of those drones over there? Yeah, you would want to jam. You would want to do a jamming signal on those drones and reduce the dice that they have, not
Got
the actual call. The call's not going to affect anything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So make a cracking plus logic, and there's no resistance. And as you start spewing out this spam, you will increase the noise rating for every hit you get. So the higher your hits, the better.
Let's go. So, and I do have a expertise in hacking. I think that does throw me an expertise in that as well. 4 hits.
So you provide a -4 dice pool for the drones to do anything, including shooting, dodging, and whatnot.
Fantastic. Is there an open box anywhere near me?
Yeah.
Could I use my last 2? I'm assuming that was 1 full action. I want to use my 2 minor actions. Hop in.
Done. All right. Going. Where did it go off to? Spells, Autosoft. How long does it last? Say major action, local area. So basically, as long as your deck continues to jam, they're all going to experience a -4 to everything.
Fantastic.
All right. Convoy, you're up top.
All right. I am going to use my first major action to. Well, actually, first, what rounds are in this? Now I gotta look. Now I'm not sure.
I did put that down, I thought.
Where'd it go?
Scrolling back up.
Ammo, 500 belt feed.
Yeah, okay. So it is most likely just machine gun rounds, but let's see what machine gun rounds are listed on the crate sheet. There's machine gun APDS rounds and machine gun explosive.
What was the first one? Sorry.
APDS.
Let's pretend I don't know what that is, because I don't.
It's armor piercing weapons.
Oh, okay.
Full jacket, I do believe, is the concept.
I'm laughing. I'm right there with you.
Those both sound fun, but not to be outdone by Steel Tiger, we will use explosive rounds.
All right, that increases the damage by 1.
And since I am jumped in, that is an engineering plus logic. I am jumped in, so I get +3 to this.
Boom, 3 hits. And the fire modes on the gun were burst and full auto.
Yeah. It is in full auto, I believe, because it's got the Gyro. Gyro. How do you pronounce it? GYRO.
The Euro?
Euro.
It's a Euro.
It's got Euro.
Euro is the thing you eat. Gyro is the thing that balances stuff out.
Gyro.
Some days when you're feeling really sad, a Euro will balance you out, though.
Yeah. It adds +1 to the attack rating. No, not that.
Their defense rating is 11.
So I don't think that's going to do.
And the attack rating on the gun was 10 at this distance, so +1 would be 11, so it's a tie. Nobody has edge.
Cool.
And because you're doing full auto, you could hit more than one target, but you'd have to split your pool. And since you're not, so you just full on into one And full auto does not do more damage, which is kind of crazy. But it allows you to do the multiple tack minor action without spending a minor action. Okay. Call me crazy, but I actually don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
What was the question again?
Multiple attack minor action.
So you could. It's pretty much what we've been doing, but it doesn't cost any actions to do it. You just automatically split up your dice pool as.
Oh, you're supposed to spend edge for this stuff. Look at that. That's where edge comes in. Cool. Now we know.
But now it's free for him.
Exactly, because of the gun. That amazing gun. All right. We have got 3 successes. Opening fire. They've lost 4 dice because of the jamming. So I'm going to roll 9. 2 successes. So you got 1 extra hit to the damage.
Great. That is, I believe, 6.
6p.
Yep, 6p.
Plus 1 from explosive makes it 7p. So plus 1 because of the roll makes it 8. It is a body of 3. It gets 1 success, so it takes 7. And they only have 6 health blocks, these drones. So as you lean out from cover and begin opening fire with, was it like 20 rounds of high-speed ammunition, you venerate it. Bullets begin popping through it, explosions, bits of metal flying everywhere. It spirals out of control, heads toward a patch of ground and trees that are blurring underneath you. That is
it's my first major.
Major action, yes.
Do I have a clear shot at another one? I will.
No,
I don't.
Because Steel Tiger's on the other side of the door. You're on the other side of the door. Steel Tiger has view of 2 of them. Sorry, 3 of them from his point of view. You would have to move, maybe use a minor action, reposition to the other side to be able to do so.
All right, I will do that. Steel Tiger should be able to shoot over top of me, right?
Oh yeah, you are more than capable. All right.
I will do just that. Minor action, move over, and then I will take another shot. Engineering again, plus 3.
All right, 2 of the targets are nearby for this, so they're both going to make their defensive rolls. They're down from 13 to 9 because of the jamming. 1 success and 3 successes. That pilot still has 2 edge, so he's going to hedge his bet, spend his 2 edge, turn a 4 to 5, giving him 4 successes. He didn't get any extra edge from the difference between your attack and his attack because you're the same, but he's just basically getting out of the way, making sure he doesn't get hit. The difference between the first one is 2. Did you want to do any edging to this dice roll?
Well,
I'm sorry, that's 5. I don't know why I'm reading it as 3.
I've got 1.
All right, so
the modifier is 3.
He's still going to spend his edge to reduce the damage. So the first guy took 4 plus 7. That's 11. And the second guy takes 8. So versus 11. Nothing. That drone gets annihilated. And versus the 8. Takes 7. The drones only have 6. That one gets annihilated. So as the drone moves to the doorway, and this is going to be like the full thing, as the 4-legged drone moves to the doorway, he leans his head out, and the gun kind of tilts on the top of it from its back. As it begins making positional changes, the gun begins opening fire on the first one, tearing it apart, and as it moves, quickly starts walking around until it sees its next target, the gun had stopped for only a whole second before it begins just opening white hot fire again, shells flying behind. Now, Steel Tiger, you're not in the way of these shells, but it just starts walking through the air, and the sound of the guns, and it picks up. It starts off with like a slow thudding before it starts reading at high speed before it just sprays across. A few shells bouncing, a few rounds bouncing down the length of the train, while other ones just tear through the two drones that he's targeting. The third drone that Steel Tiger can see has picked up, moved over, and the one that is up front near the train. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's only 2 of these drones left.
Okay. So remind me. So I have 4d6 for my initiative dice.
Correct.
I've used 2 of them already to give myself a second major action.
Check.
Correct. And so I have 2 left. Does that mean I have 2 minor
No.
actions left?
No. So you get a major action, a minor action, and then a minor action for every d6 you have. And so you have 4 d6s. That gives you 5.
Okay.
For that major action, you sacrifice. You have 1 major action, then you sacrifice 4 minor actions to get a second major action.
Gotcha.
And you used your minor action to move to the other side of the doorway. There is only 1 target that can see you in the doorway, and you're not in cover. You just moved.
Right. Cool.
So now it is Steel Tiger's turn.
Alrighty.
Dum-dum rounds and white-hot shells flying all over the place. It's a very familiar sensation for you. The number of times you've been in this storm of steel.
He's gonna count. He's just gonna sit there and count a couple seconds to wait for there to be a pause in the firing, and then he's gonna pop back out and release the last 3 rockets he has.
Okay. Now, you fired all 6 last time, right? Or did you fire like a single? You fired a single, and then a burst.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, then, if that's the case, then he will just drop the rifle, and then he'll pull. He will pull out his shotgun, and then you said that they're near, right? Yeah. So
Near.
then he will let loose with his AA-16.
What is your AR with this device?
It is at near 15.
Oh yeah, that definitely beats them by 1. So you have edge. Go ahead and make your attack. It's lost 3, 4 because of noise. Gets 4 successes. That pilot does not have edge to benefit it, so.
Use full auto.
5 versus 4, so you get 1 extra success. The damage is 7p. Are there any other modifiers to the damage?
No, that'll be it.
So 7, it has a body of 3.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You said that there was 2, right? And are they close to each other?
There are 2 and they are not close to each other. 1 is actually at the front of the train.
All right, cool beans. All right, I'll shoot that one, and then I have
damage is 7. It has made 3 successes, so it's going to only take 4. So it's still going to be up and operational. Do you want to spend any edge to reduce its dice roll in any kind of way, shape, or form?
Yes, I will use 2? How much is it to reduce?
I believe it was 2, but please let me check.
If that is the case, I will use the 2 to reduce one of those 5s to a 4.
Almost there. Maybe one day.
And is this factoring in the pop-ups there, or?
Yes, that's why I keep
Oh,
saying they lose 4. So we're rolling with 13 dice. Now they're rolling with 9.
got it.
The body does not get reduced because it can't. The noise won't reduce that. And I'm there. I just saw it. Freaking negate 1 edge of a foe for 2.
Double down, give an ally edge. Oh, okay. Well, then it seems like as if I can't do that. So then, in that case, I will use that edge to turn one of my 4s into a 5.
Right, which gives you still the same effect.
Yeah.
So instead of 7, it's 8. It knocks off 3, taking 5. It's badly damaged. It now has a -1 to all its actions and only 1 box of health left. But it is now its turn. So the drone. Oh, you do? I apologize. Let me not take that away from you.
You're good. And then if it's still up, then I will finish it off with a burst.
It is still up, yes. So it's got a -5 now. So instead of 9, it's got 8. 4 successes. It can't really prove anything with its little bit of edge, but it can re-roll 1. So
8 times.
Doesn't do any good. So 4 plus 8 is 12. It makes a body check. I don't think this is going to do it any good. 1 success. 11 points of damage. Your second shot tears through the last of its rotors that burst into flames as it begins spiraling out of the air.
Ooh. Just like skeet shooting.
The drone at the front moves toward the front windshield of the train. Its 2 large bulbous hands open up and they cling on to the front of the train and the window itself. As it holding on there, hovering and being in the front of the train, Catherine says, good, yes, that's fine. Sure, cover it in insurance. I don't care. Is it mine? Is it mine? It's mine now? Great. Open fire with some real ammunition. Where did the drones all go? Gosh! She angrily grabs a hold of something nearby, and you can hear something that sounds like a plastic-steel type security helmet bashing against the terminal. Why are they all destroyed? So, when this takes place, the drone that is at the front of the vehicle with its hands, arm-like things held on, the gun is literally hanging underneath it, pointing your direction. But what happens next is not the gun opening fire. Instead, the top of the drone, the rotors, stop moving for a moment, fold back, and the drone itself spins over to where another set of ambulatory legs disconnect from the main body attached to the vehicle and begin walking up the train. Now with the gun itself mounted on its underbelly, and it begins walking along the length of the top of the train. She turns to, after bashing one of the security people's heads a bunch, and she says, oh, actually, first she looks to you and says, just a minute, hang on. She mutes herself. And she begins yelling. You see gestures. Then she comes back in. Good. Send it in. Yes. I promise you, I will help you take care of your sister problem. Just send in Hooper's high threat response drone. Send it in now. Now is the time. I have criminals stealing my property, and she's making eye contact with you, Arkol. I have criminals stealing my property, and I want them dead. And so that ends their turn. The drone plows across the top of the train, and the pilot, even though he's taking some penalties, he's got 6 dice in it. He's gonna try. He makes no success on hiding his icon, but he tried. He tried to hide it. Now he's gonna sneak up, and he thinks he's invisible. Arkol, your turn.
I would like to fire off a data spike at this drone.
To who?
At this
Her?
drone.
At this drone, the drone that's on top of the vehicle?
Yeah.
All right.
And that is
Data
track-
spike it is. Oh, come on. I did spell it right. Oh, it's got a space in it.
5 hits.
All right. And it's data processing plus firewall. His firewall, ooh, it's only a 4. And his data processing is actually pretty good. It's a 6, so that's 10 dice. There's a lot of noise going on, so he loses 4. It's 6 again. He makes 1 success. So the damage you deal to your target is equal to your attack rating divided by half.
So I've got. So this is not the attack rating. This is
Your attack number related to yes, your attribute. So that's 4, and then every net hit that you got. He got 1, you got 5. That's 4. So you do 8 matrix damage to this dude. Now, he's cold sinned in, so it definitely just takes the drone out. While you guys have opened fire, drones firing, you're looking around for the next target. Y'all hear something crash, and then bang, and then on the other side of the car, something slide off and fall off the train in that direction. Because that's it. You can't. That's all the matrix damage it can take.
Well,
You
no.
still have another action if you would like to do so.
so with me still hiding in the box.
What's in the box?
Data spikes for everybody. Let me throw another data spike directed at the call, Elizabeth.
Catherine.
Or Catherine.
Okay. Yeah. Shut her down.
You get a spike, and you get a spike.
Nobody's safe. Nine hits.
She's not affected by the noise that you're throwing out, by the way.
Mhm.
10. Your data spike leaches forward, slams into her as she's doing, and she stops and looks as she's fiddling. She goes, "Really? Okay. Okay. We can play hardball. Don't send in the high threat response team. Send in one of the angels." And she says, "You're going to wish you never did that." And that is signed for a commercial.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can I just ask, what does a summoning tea kettle look like?
Oh, a summoning tea kettle. It is made out of cast iron that has been painted ritually with symbols in blood, obviously, that are then coated and shellacked over so that they don't flake off, that way it can last for centuries. And we use a nice clear coat, though, so you can see them quite nice, quite clear. We mix in with the blood, we mix in the iridescent paint, so it gives us a nice little beautiful shimmer, especially as it heats up. And as you heat it up, that's where the magic happens, because that is when all of the symbols start to glow and get bright and beautiful. And as the tea kettle whistles, that is the summoning ritual complete.
If you have an interest in using the summoning tea kettle, or taking part in any of the other worlds in our games, you don't have to have experience. Just join our Discord, and the GMs will work with you and help you find a game you enjoy. The link is in the chat.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?
92 times.
You get to play with us now, which is so exciting. So with channel points, bits, and subscribes, you can give rewards to the player of your choice. So how to do that is, no, not Bob. Channel points, I believe it is 500 points, gets you NERPs, which is +3 to any dice roll to the player of your choice. For 1,000 channel points, you can do a point of edge to any player. And for 2,500 channel points, you can do 4 edge to the player of your choice. Now for bits, for 100 bits, that's $1, you can do the NERPs. For 200 bits, that's $2, you can do the point of edge. Or for 500 bits, that's $5, get 4 edge to give to the player of your choice. And finally, again, the subs, if you subscribe, you can give 4 edge to any player.
I was impersonating Mitch McConnell, sorry. Everybody needs to run. Just get away from the computers. They're trying to take control of you. No, actually, tonight's giveaway is a prototype copy of a horror board game, The Stifling Dark, by Sophisticated Cerberus Games. Get it before Kickstarter backers get their copies of the game. 1 free entry for typing #RemPC in the chat, or 1 entry for every 100 bits, and 7 entries for each subscription. Subscriptions aren't hard. Just go over there, push the button, subscribe. It's pretty good. 7 shots. You're up against some heavy competition. You need to get those numbers in. So the winner will be notified via Twitch chat, and we'll also announce it at the end of tonight's session, which is probably in about 18 minutes. Holy crap, there's other people here.
Hello.
All right. Oh, man. Do we actually need... We don't need that anymore. We can get rid of it. All right, what are we doing? What do we got going on? We just got finished with the round. And we were about to get back to the top of the round. Our call just went. And right. I promise I know what's going on. Alrighty then. All right. So at the beginning of this round, it's going to be a convoy. He just messaged me what he wants to do. I love it. We'll definitely get to that sometime later. I'm going to make that cost you at least 2 minor actions.
That's fine. I was about to use a major action on it. So.
Nope, that's not a major action. That's 2 minor
Oh,
actions.
that's right. Yeah, it is because it's a yeah. Okay.
That's what it is. So you still have other major actions to do. You still have your major action to do. You're very aware that our Cole tried to data spike her, and she just said, "No, you just didn't," and apparently threatened with something called an angel from Hoopers. So there are no drones that are hostile at this point in time in the area.
Yeah. So I don't think there's too much I can do. I think I will, because I don't like the sound of this angel. I imagine a lot of a biblical accurate angel with a bunch of eyeballs, and that freaks me out a little bit.
Of course,
So,
right?
Yeah. So I think. I think, God, I don't like this. I don't want to be asleep when this happens. So I think I'm going to use an action to come out of hot sim or cold sim rather.
Yes.
Because I want my senses about me and I don't know what's coming next.
So okay.
I don't know if I need to move. I don't know what I'm going to need to do.
Right.
So I'm going to use an action to get out. And then, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna wait and probably just take my time to look around and see what's coming using the cameras on the train.
All right. Do you want to use any kind of skill associated with that?
Perception.
Go for it. That will be definitely a minor action. With 3 hits, you're not seeing anything that definitely sets you off. We are at the first round of the train kicking into a higher speed. So at this point, it's well over 100 kilometers an hour, moving into 150 and stuff like that. So as you begin winding up the side of the cliff facing and through the tree lines, heading for the lower part of the Seattle area. You still have minor actions left. You don't see any dangers right now. Did you want to do anything else before we move on to?
I mean, I'll start moving.
Nova?
I think I'll start moving up because I have a feeling I'm gonna need to hit that button.
Sure. As you get to the 4th car, Nova has stopped and she's thrown your chainsaw off to one side. And she looks at you as she digs her arm into the lid and gives a massive yank, popping a series of tiny little plastic tabs on the inside. You know those little plastic tabs that once you pull on it, it's permanently popped and ripped? Aren't those annoying? It's like, come on, what if I wanted to close this afterwards? I mean, yes, I did just take a monofilament chainsaw to it, but I should be able to close this thing back. And when she pulls it open, there's a naked dude laying inside. Your heart drops. Your body feels very weird. Because it's you, Convoy. Amber is looking down. Sorry, Nova is looking down. She looks up. She doesn't say anything at this point. But inside this large crate is you. Next action goes to Steel Tiger.
Steel Tiger is he's going to make note of Catherine, right?
Yes.
Of her voice patterns, and he's going to save that for later. And he is going to then he's going to notice that there's another convoy in a box.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. Do you have a twin brother or something?
This gotta be a clone.
I mean, like,
He
did you
does look
sign up for
younger.
that service?
Later.
Oh, all right. He is going to re-rack his shotgun and hey, Arcole, can you give me the AR juice so I can chuck this chick up?
Yeah, as Arkol is still hidden away in his box, he hops out, or either Steel Tiger can come to him, or Arkol hops out and touches all of the ammunition.
All right, so it's a gun thing. So which weapon are you modifying? Like you have to pick the weapon. It's either a melee weapon or a ranged weapon, and his ammunition has to be stick and shock for it to be effective if it's a gun.
Okay. I will. Yeah, I will present my my rifle. I didn't bring any stick and shotgun shells.
Got it. All right, then Arkol reaches on over and gives it the haptic sensor.
All right. And Steel Tiger, you used to have minor actions, major actions. What do you want to do? Walk to the front of the train where she's at?
Yes.
All right. So as you move into the front of the train, the hologram of her in AR as she is standing in a pose like Superman with her hands on her hips staring at you like nothing you can do can harm her. Are you come to surrender? Have you come to surrender?
No, doll. I have not. Blah. Burst
Six.
fire.
All right, I'm gonna roll her reaction intuition to see if she's, she's aware that the fight's gonna happen and stuff like that, or a shot's gonna happen. She's got. We'll give her 8 dice for this. So she can choose the dodge if she wants to. She's definitely surprised, but she can choose the dodge, and so this is related to her physical more than her like matrix abilities or anything. So she's got all of 8 dice because she's got a real high intuition and a terrible reaction. 2. So the damage is 10. As you begin unloading the sticking shock with the matrix adaptation onto it, you begin blowing holes into the AR construct in the front of the train. Of course, the ammunition dies right after that happens, and the construct gets destroyed in the process. Bits and pieces blown out of it, digital blood pours from open wounds as she's shot, and she has that shocked look in her face as you spray about 6 rounds into her holographic form.
She's just going to like give like a little bow, and she's like, "Eee!"
Yes, turning into a puddle of digital goo on the bottom of the
and then he's
train car. Yeah.
Can I make like is there any kind of knowledge check I can make to know what an angel is?
Yes. What kind of skill or knowledge would you like to utilize for this? It's otherwise it's going to be like popular military kind of equipment.
Okay, military stuff. Okay, I got weapons manufacturer, small unit tactics, corporate.
You go with weapons manufacturer. You might know of the weapon systems that get put on an angel, therefore you have some options.
Okay.
So that's a knowledge, so that would give you edge on making a logic test, because knowledges don't have ranking, right?
Yeah, correct.
So you're going to make a logic intuition roll, and this gives you edge. Please stop rubbing against my microphone. I have a visitor.
Got 3. I have 2 edge left. Oh no, 3 with the 1. I will use it to bump that 4 into a 5, so I have 4 hits.
4 hits. Oof. You remember Hooper has several top secret projects that they kind of keep under the wraps. And the Angel Project, or the Angels as they refer to, are hypersonic jets or hypersonic drones that are utilized for threat situations that a high threat response team isn't going to be able to handle.
Okay.
And do you know what a high set threat response team can't handle?
There's very few things that they can't handle.
Dragons, dimensional beings, creatures from beyond the universe that nobody can understand, that once you look upon them, you can no longer do regular mathematics. It's all non-Euclidean.
Oh, snap. Okay. We should probably get out of here. How far away from Subfabrica are we, Arco?
If we're continuously going faster, do I need to make a check for that, or we're just under halfway if we're going faster and faster at this point, right?
Yeah, and as you go faster, the total trip is going to take you 18 rounds. 9 rounds to speed up to the fastest speed, 9 rounds to get there. You're on round 4 of speeding up because it's going through its normal speed up process.
So we're about quarter of the way there.
Yes, you're about a quarter. You still have 3 more quarters to go. You got 75 cents?
Hey, Convoy, do you know anything about these angels? Do you have anything that could stop hypersonic jets?
Nah, man. What? Like what? Who do you think I am? We gotta get underground. That's how we stop it. It's like a tornado. You just get underground. You don't try to fight it. You just get underground.
It's kind of hard to get underground going mock Jesus right now. All right. So he's just going to prepare as much as he can. He's going to try to he's going to try to maybe like hide in a box or something and like
reload your rocket launcher fully.
Oh, duh! I'm dumb. Yeah, I'll pick the rocket launcher back up.
Guys, there's a boss monster coming. I'm just going to hide in this box with the rest of you. What?
Oh, my original plan was to have Arco like make another like copy of her like AR thing, and then I use my voice to tell them to go away. But in rockets are so much better.
We almost had another love story moment with the two of you in a box together, just huddled up nice and close.
So close. Hold me closer.
Give me a big spoon, just like.
Reloading your rocket launcher. This is round 4. Arcole, what are you doing on round 4?
Since assumably I got out of the box, I want to go back in the box, but also run if we didn't get any like fully fleshed out information, could I go in and do a threat analysis on this angel? If I'm detecting where this thing is at all.
You haven't detected anything yet.
I haven't detected.
Your sensors on the sensors of the train, your individual, like what you've got going with your deck is giving you nothing.
God. Can I hide us?
Can you hide us? Okay, how do you want to hide you? You can hide you matrix-wise.
Oh well, I guess if it doesn't have if I'm not picking up anything in the matrix, then more than likely it doesn't have any. I don't think I have anything other than hiding.
Other than hiding. All right. Convoy. What about you? What do you have that will help the guys out at this point?
I don't think Convoy is thinking much about what is going to help everybody else. I think Convoy is trying to figure out what is happening in front of him. Is there, I don't know, like a data pad, anything around there that would give any information about what's happening inside this crate?
Oh, with the duplicate of you?
Yeah.
That's what your concern is right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a data pad in there.
I am swiping that.
Okay. As soon as you touch it, the data pad lights up. And it starts talking about biosignature detected, biosignature downloading. Please stand by. You notice that where your finger landed, a print has appeared.
Oh, I'm wearing gloves.
I hear you. A
Yeah.
print has appeared.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Just checking.
You'll hear a voice. A woman's, an older woman's voice appears. Oh my goodness, what are you guys doing? You got to get this train here. And Hex Baron appears. She appears in the AR as you guys are hiding under boxes, mostly are cold. This is like, she's like, what are you doing? There is a very large thing flying in your direction. You need to get this train moving.
Oh, where's the rockets?
You guys can all hear her, but she is in AR floating next to Arcole.
Everybody hang on, and I will, do I have to go to the front to set it off, or can I, great. I'll tell everyone to hang on and wait for everybody to get, like... Hunkered down.
Sure,
And then
sure.
I'm gonna, well, first, if I can, I would like to make sure we don't have any, like, big, like, turns or anything coming up in the next foreseeable route.
Can Arcole and Gross kind of like look into the map for convoy at this point?
There are digital displays. Make it big and small and all. Here's where we're at. And there are some 90-degree turns that look kind of fucking scary. Excuse me.
Okay, well then I am not gonna hit that.
But you can always make a piloting roll to make it through those turns.
Could we assist in that?
Yeah.
Like looking at the math of all of it, looking at the angles, exactly how fast we could go.
You can do a teamwork roll. You do the same roll that he has to do, and then your extra dice add to his.
All right. I think I'm gonna need to try to. I'm gonna have to jump into this train to do this. Hold me, Nova. Trust fall. Well, it'll be much smoother though. It'll be much smoother in the sweet Texas draw. I'll be like, "Hold me, darling," and I'll just.
I need her like wedding holding you, like just both arms right out front.
And I'll jump into the train.
Hot simmed in.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of controls in here that you could not see from the outside. The driver probably normally sits in hot sim. So you have access to a total of 8 thrusters, rocket-style thrusters, these magical rocket thrusters in almost every direction. So it's not just like go faster. You can make the train go left and right on its little monorail thing.
Ooh.
Yeah,
okay.
like all the thrusters at the front, so you can make it go left, right, and kind of like spin, maybe even dodge if you so felt like it. And the train has a satellite link uplay that is part of this simmed-in part, and there is a high-speed object traveling faster than the train, and you see it. The moment you see it, everybody else sees it in its HUD, in your heads-up display. A very large drone is coming from what looks to be an orbital position towards you.
Fun. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get this train going.
All right.
As fast as I possibly can.
To make it move from the step where it's at, like I said, it's 9 steps in total. You're at 4 going into 5. And if you want to clear the rest of them to the final speed, you're going to want to get a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to need to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. You're going to need to get a 6 on your piloting intuition roll.
Okay.
What am I rolling to assist as well with?
You're going to be doing an engineer plus logic. Of course,
while
you can
they're
use
doing
any
this,
skill,
I'm-
but this is the only one I think that's going to give any benefit. Steel Tiger, do you want to like give a moral support on this dice roll?
Oh no, I'm grabbing a bunch of chimichangas and I'm gonna like heat them in my shock hands for them. Like if they pull this off, they're gonna have delicious chimichangas.
Awesome. Yes. That's 3. 3 is not close to 6.
Oh no, that was
That,
his
that
roll
one's
to
mine.
help.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you get 3 more dice.
All right, so that gives me +6 then.
All
This
right.
is an intuition roll. My edge is currently full.
Do you want Randy to give you bonus dice as well for the piloting intuition? Oh, never mind. Don't need it.
Nah.
Don't need it.
Chimichanga.
The train immediately jumps from around 150 kilometers per hour quickly within 1 round. It moves to over 300. You all begin experiencing exceptional amounts of G-forces. If you are not braced into something, you start to slide toward the back of the train, tumbling, boxes flinging, a variety of things. Arcole, your box is in the middle of one of the floors, so you are swept out from underneath it. I need you to make. You are no longer able to help him beyond this by this point, because your physical body is tumbling around. You need to make a agility reaction roll. You're looking for 3 successes, 3 hits. Steel Tiger, you were sitting down cooking with your hands, and I'm assuming you're braced, but I'm still going to require at least 1 roll, 1 agility reaction. If you have athletics, you can use athletics instead. Athletics and reaction. Convoy, you do not have to because you're in the crash couch, I'm assuming.
I'll use agility and reaction. Boop.
And I believe I'm rolling the right thing.
0. All right. Steel Tiger, you brace, it begins shocking. You're like, wow, this is actually pretty fast as quickly as it's happening. But you don't have any ability to help out Arcole because he's in the next car back. His box goes tumbling to the back. You guys hit that first 90-degree bend. The wall becomes the floor as you begin going up. Arcole, you hit the next doorway. You will take 2 points of physical damage as you slam into an intersection. And as you go tumbling past, a naked convoy grabs a hold of you and keeps you from plummeting to the back of the train. Hang on, you. Don't need you tumble around back here.
Just hold on.
I don't know what to say to that.
I will tell you this much. His hand is not warm. All right. Bam. 600 kph hit within the first few seconds, moving to 700, 800, and 1,000 is just climbing. This train is pushing you back into the crash seat. Your body is telling you, hey, by the way, you can definitely feel it on your heart as, there's advisements popping up like suck in your gut, hold your tummy, tuck your body, do this, that, and the other. G-forces are happening. The Angel has cleared most of the rate about 20,000 feet above sea level within that same period of time, dropping almost 8,000 feet easily. You are watching its counter spinning down. And at this point in time, its icon appears quite clearly. You get a really good idea why it's called an angel. It is some sort of cylinder-like plane with swept back wings that have a slight curve to it. Somebody in their right minds decided to decorate those airplane wings with feathers because, that's not scary anyways. It has a decent payload on it and whatnot because it's some sort of suborbital plane that's just plummeting out of the sky straight towards you. The next round, you hit 1,000 kph. You've made it past that first bend, and now it is time to move past the next bend as you are shooting toward it. The number of rounds begin dashing down very quickly. This is great. You are heading for Subfabrica very quickly. Hexbaron says, I'm going to go get the door open, and she disappears. You get ready for the next bit, and Arcole is nowhere to be seen. He is no longer with you. It is just you. And Randy.
All right, Randy. We need your help on this one.
This 90-degree turn at this speed is going to require 5 hits. It is a pilot plus reaction roll.
Okay, let's see. Question: is this technically a ground vehicle?
Yes.
Oh,
Right
okay.
now it is.
Okay. All right. Can Randy help me at all?
He has a total of 6 dice that he can roll, and that would be his teamwork to you. You can roll it or I can roll it. Split.
2.
Yep. Awesome. All right, so with high speed where you're at this point, we have 2 rounds till you hit Subfabrica. Hex Baron is announced. The doors are opening. As soon as you get through, make sure to slow down as quickly as possible, and I will get those doors shut.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
So as you come around this 90-degree turn, and it's part of the large loop, you notice that the Angel, which was 12,000 feet in the air and heading in your direction, is now 2,000 feet. It has lost 10,000 feet worth of distance. In your mind, you know that this means that thing is burning up hot. That's an incredible amount of friction. This is and it's basically flying toward the ground. It's not falling, it's flying toward the ground. And at this time, as it's hitting that 2,000 feet zone, it is almost at the same height level as it's coming down. It's now starting to level out as it's coming towards Seattle behind you guys. The train is now in an upright position. The floor is now the floor and the walls are now the walls. And the naked convoy is helping Arcole up. You okay? You look like you were about to die there.
Yeah, thank you. And then our Cole will check. Is this convoy part of the pan?
No. The naked convoy turns and goes, we should probably go find the driver. He's going all sorts of crazy. He might need some help.
Yeah, the driver. And who is the driver?
I have no idea. The convoy turns and walks away from you, and you notice down his neck, at his spine, there are skill jack and data jack ports along the length of his spine, and attached to them are some sort of device. What they are, what it does, you're not too sure, but you also notice this person has a lot of cyberware, and he has those definitive lines to show that parts of his torso can be opened up and things worked on. The naked convoy begins heading toward the front of the train. Steel Tiger, naked convoy, comes into the room with you. Nova comes in as well, and she's smiling. Hey.
You might want to cover up that big iron you got. Just.
All right. This is got 2 rounds left. This next piloting roll is going to be an easy one. You're moving at a high speed. It's mostly level playing field. You're looking at a 3. That's it.
All right. Should I roll for Randy again, or should I
do whatever you want?
Yeah,
if you want to, I mean, more dice, more dice. This game doesn't have limits to the number of rolls you can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go, Randy.
Yeah.
Four hits. Okay. So as you're in this somewhat of a straight turn and whatnot, you can see everybody else's visions and pans. The other convoy is up moving around, and you're like, you're distracted for the moment. Randy's like, pay attention. We gotta get this loot. No, what? And Randy notices, and he's like, holy shit. What the hell is that? And as you're zipping along, You see in the rear cameras, it's getting incredibly larger. There's like this burst of whiteness that peels off the front of this angel. And as it comes toward the back of the train, it goes up over the train. And it's not, you see its weapon systems come online. And then a missile goes from both sides of the wings. They shoot past the train, going along the length, spiral out, and it split outward away from the train and the track, and they come back in, and a massive explosion. The track in front of the monorail splinters into thousands of fiery pieces of plastic and metal.
We're not supposed to look at this explosion, guys. So I have no idea what's happening right now.
What do you want to do?
All right,
would
so
like to.
yeah, go for it.
There's no way we could stop before we get to this thing. So, I would like to use those rockets.
Yeah.
Okay.
that are on the side of it and change their trajectory.
Okay, well, that's no longer ground vehicle rules.
Yeah, I understand. That's okay.
Okay.
And then hold on. There's a thing for this. I know there's a thing for this. There are special edge actions, and I gotta look them up. I'm sure there's one that is specifically.
Edge, aren't you too?
Okay.
Teeming with edge, seething with edge, filled to the brim with edge. Edgelord.
Where are they? If I can find, there are special ones for driving, and I'm trying to get the one that I'm.
Oh yeah, those specialty skill
where-
things. They weren't called boosts. What were they called? I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
No, they were called boosts. Edge actions.
Edge actions.
Let's see, we've got anticipation, which is combat related. Bring the drama. No, that's not right.
Now I have special ones for being a rigger that I think might help.
Ooh.
Up the ante, maybe you just up the ante. You decide to take a challenging route to see if others can keep up. You may only take this edge action when you're on the target of a chase and you are in a tight environment. I would argue this is a tight environment because
I would have to agree as well. You are definitely in a tight environment and a chase-like scenario.
I add a penalty to my handling or increase the threshold. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. We're good with that, yeah.
Of 1 per 2 edge spent. Any pursuers must either accept that penalty or fall out of the chase and lose track of you. It's not quite what I want. I thought there was one specifically for doing some weird, dumb maneuver, and I'm trying to find that.
Like an Evil Knievel or Daredevil thing?
Yeah, thought there was. I thought there was like a trick one, but I'm having trouble finding it now, of course.
Maybe it's in the driving book?
Yeah,
That's the one I'm
Okay.
looking at now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at page 173 or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see.
Okay, I could use in the zone. You are feeling the flow of the vehicle's movement and know how to make it do what you want, at least for now. Ignore any penalties affecting my vehicle's handling on this test.
Yeah, okay. And that's an edge thing?
Yeah, that is for edge.
So the handling is definitely going to drop out. That would be beneficial. So let's take a look at something real quick. Nope, that's not what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
You can also use the rigor's advantage.
I'm also going to use that. I'm going to do
Yeah.
both of those things.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, so the handling is dropping out, which is basically the limit on your vehicle. So you're basically saying, no, it's not going to drop out.
Cool beans.
You will need 7 successes to clear the gap.
Okay.
No,
And
6 successes to clear the gap.
Okay. So that's 4 edge. And I'm going to use another one to use the Rigger's Advantage. Riggers feel the way they control the vehicles and drones gives them certain intangible advantage over others. Or can I only use 1 per turn?
You can only use 1 per turn, I thought. No, whatever, just do it. It's fine.
Okay. And then I add my control rig's rating to my total hits. On this
Nice.
Yep.
Which is 6.
So you just auto pass. Nice.
You give
I
it
feel
a
like that's
description.
All right. So I changed the rocket so that I get trajectory. I'm literally pulling a speed only on a train. This is speed 4. We're pulling speed 4, and to get just enough height to clear the gap, so we can meet the other side of the tracks and keep going.
Okay, and everyone else?
Screaming and holding on for dear life while
Okay.
trying not to get burned by what Still Tiger's making.
Got it.
As I'm cooking the chimichangas, I'm making the like the Dukes of Hazzard noise or whatever when they jump over stuff.
And keeping a close eye on Naked Convoy. I don't trust that guy.
Of course. Excellent. And there's Randy's roll. That's an extra 3 dice. Total of 7. When you're about to launch off, you realize that as the thing begins to you're not like shooting straight up. You're not trying to do that. You're just kind of trying to make it go down and then back up, like this weird like loop where you're throwing the train because the train has to re-click onto the next monorail, or you have to continue flying the next few meters to go and then you realize all those bars and arms that hold on have nothing to keep to. And so as you've whipped off the end and you're heading for that next part, they don't have a manipulator or controller that will move them back to where they need to be. And so instead of going for the rest of the gap, you just go for the open doorway. And as the speeding monorail rockets to the open section of groundway and the door is stopped, Hexbaron sees what's happening and she begins closing the doors back behind as the train flies through the opening toward a section of dark, cold ground. And you brace for impact. This has been an exciting game for me. I really enjoyed how it all turned out. You guys, it was really great. I'm sad that we didn't get to keep Amber around. But, oh man, let's go ahead and do the giveaway. Because we are definitely late. We were supposed to be done earlier. And as for the winner of the Stifling Dark by Sophisticated Cerberus Games is... No, that's a roach playing with shooting. I got distracted by Chris's gif he sent in. Yes, I got distracted. Tempest! Tempest, you win! Christian, you are the winner of tonight's drawing. Congratulations. Oh, yes, yes, oh, yes.
Amber's gonna be so mad.
Yeah. She'll get over it.
Yeah, true. She will.
Thank you to everyone else who joined into this and put in the Rem PC. It was definitely a fun game tonight, and I hope you guys as well enjoyed listening to this part of the story as the players have escaped. Really good. I like your guys' ingenuity, the way that you handled things, the fight scene worked out really good. I generally provide 3 to 5 karma based upon how things are going. And you guys have some really good ingenuity how to deal with problems and address it. I know Tyler constantly says, I don't know and you're like really hitting on the spot of what you should be thinking about. So the next time you say, I don't know what I should be saying, I'm like, no, you got this, man. So I'm going to award everybody 5 karma for tonight. It was a really good game. But this is definitely the end of the scene. Between this game session and our next game session, which should be in about 2 weeks. 1,
Yeah.
2. We won't be back till the 17th. This show won't be back till the 17th. The group's going to have some downtime. They are going to get a chance to deliver the goods to the children. We're going to be playing the game just via text behind, and you guys will be coming in and hearing a catch up. So, great news, they're going to survive the crash. Just gonna spoiler alert. Karma, game end. Christian won the prize. Do we have anything else we should do? Oh, we should do promos. I will let Christian go first.
Yes. If you love playing amazing tabletop RPGs like Shadowrun 6th Edition or any others, check out roughmagicgames.com. Sometimes you don't have time to do all the work that a game master does. Not everyone can have the skill and talent like our very own Max here. So when you don't, why not hire someone to do it for you? Save yourself the time and the energy and just have a good time with your friends. You can do that at roughmagicgames.com.
I also want to point out that if you're in the Chicago area, that's where they will actually like meet up and do a sit down with you. Like, I'm really impressed with the way they handle everything because I get the chance to see behind the scenes. They're doing an amazing job. And Christian and I have been talking about making that happen here in Jacksonville. So that's interesting. And I'd like to see that work out for, this area as well. So definitely reach out to them and come hang out with us and I'll run games for you. If you like what I'm doing, I'll run a game for you. Christian's good too. I'm not gonna knock it. He's good too. A lot of really great people over there. Rem Alternis has got Kickstarters, but I'm not the best person to talk about Kickstarters. That guy, he's over there. That guy is.
There you go. No, that's perfect. Most importantly, simply because of how close it's coming up, we do have Takedown coming up on August 3rd, the very beginning of Gen Con. You can catch me playing it at Gen Con on stage along with Seasons of Arcadia as well. We have a whole bunch of other Kickstarters that are going to get their own time for promotion, as including projects like Parachute Panda and Fandooble, which are incredible projects that I've been watching them put together, and it's all fantastic. But if you're at Gen Con, please come up and say hi or watch either of those games.
Yes. Chris, you got anything to throw? Pitch up?
No. My name is Chris, and I'm a random dude on the internet. I have nothing to promote, but yeah, keep watching because it's a great time.
Hell yes. And sometime later this year, we will be having a game of mutants and masterminds ran by the line developer from Green Ronin. And Chris is one of the players in it. His character is pretty interesting. I won't spoil anything for it. That's about it, yeah.
Actually, 2 more things. I know that you have a little bit more experience with this, but Hellslayers, that is going to be a project coming up soon to look out for.
Yes.
As well as Exit Vector, which is going to be relaunched very soon.
I also, since Amber's not here, Amber is doing commissions for character art.
Yes.
So it just got put in the chat. Just wanted to call that out. check it out. We love the artwork. You can see how great it is.
I owe her
right here on the
money.
screen.
Please come. Let me run games for you so I can pay Amber money and get artwork.
Good deal.
I think we're done. I'm done. I gotta go to bed.
Me too.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.